Welcome back to 1010's podcast with Michael and Adam and Robbie.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
It's Friday.
What a crazy fucking week.
So horrible.
The worst week. Dude, I swear, like, Wednesday was Friday. This has been the longest week on record.
Yes.
Yesterday.
And I didn't even go to work on Monday.
Yesterday, which was Thursday,
Was the worst
I
day of
didn't
my
know
life.
what day it was anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I'm with you on that one.
Worked so many hours this week for stuff.
Yeah, you've been a busy boy.
I feel you.
I didn't know what time was anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing
No, I'm with
made
you on
any
that.
sense anymore.
Yeah.
I was like, what the hell am I doing? So anyway, it's done though. I got the project.
Proud of you.
Everybody's wondering.
We're so proud of you.
It was worth the effort.
And we
Was
still
it, though?
Nobody
I
knows
mean-
what we're talking about.
no, but we
That's
made
okay.
time for the podcast on a Friday.
On
We
a Friday.
sacrificed our busy lives.
There are many things.
Yeah, that's what they
there are
are.
many other things that we could be doing.
We are so
we're here.
We have so many
I can't
places we
think
are
of one
invited.
thing I would be doing other than this that's even mildly productive.
Oh, productive? Then no.
No, I'd be sitting at home doing nothing if I wasn't here
God, that sounds
doing
nice.
nothing. Right? So
At my house where nobody can see me.
the
it's
weather's
great.
been so shitty that I haven't been able to go get Katie from Super Lab.
Oh, that's right.
So her and Logan have been gone for the last 2 fucking weeks, dude. My
yeah.
house, it's just been me and the cats.
That's a quiet house.
Oh, it's been so different.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Like, it's been great. I really want my kid back, but
Yes.
it's been great.
You need a break every once in a while, though. Let's
I
be
know,
real.
but
everybody does.
The problem is
Everybody
Katie
needs a break.
Yeah,
like,
well,
legitimately hasn't had one since the day he was born, and I don't know how to get one for her.
Her mom can't take him for a little while.
I
or
mean,
no?
yeah, but she's 3 hours away, and logistically, it's annoying and difficult.
yes, I get
That's
that.
no good.
So
Adulting and stuff.
Yeah, being an adult is not great.
tell me about it. I just bought a furnace.
Ugh, you're so.
That's
you're
what
so
12-year-old
old.
you wanted while
Yeah.
you're looking through pictures of
Yeah.
Ferraris and
Race
NSXs.
cars.
You were
When I
thinking,
grow up,
I'm gonna buy a brand new Amana furnace.
yes.
It's got a 10-year warranty, baby.
Now it's got that lifetime warranty on that heat exchanger,
Yeah,
bro.
it's the second largest check I've ever written.
I'm sure that there is absolutely nobody that wants to know what a heat exchanger is.
No.
There's
I
nobody
know,
that
like kind of.
But why? Again, when you're a child and you think about
Right, yeah. No,
where
I'm
you
with
want to
you.
be in life, knowing about what a heat
No.
exchanger is,
Not one of
flame
them.
rods for water
Right.
heaters, stuff like that. those are things that you wish that adulthood didn't come
filter box.
with. Filter boxes.
It's not as cool as it
absolutely not.
sounds.
Septic tank.
Septic tanks
septic
could be
tanks,
really
man.
bad.
Dude, my
I'm so paranoid about
If you're
this.
su-
talking to
no,
somebody
d-
about a septic tank, it could be a really bad discussion. That's not good.
the sewage pipe that leaves my house, I know has been broken by a root.
You have to. Yep.
Because every couple of years, I have to have someone come out and run through it.
Yes.
It's just a matter of time, dude.
You got to replace.
It's just a matter of
replace that
time.
pipe.
That's going to be $11 billion I don't have.
Yeah, I can't only imagine what it would be to replace the septic tank. At least, like, you can maintain it and pump it, and that's like a couple $100 whenever you do it. Or if you don't pay attention to it and don't know how long it's been since it's been pumped,
Yeah.
it's gonna be like $10,000 if you screw it up.
Well, dude, so yesterday, we're here, whatever. The furnace guy's at my house, you know, we go through this whole thing, and like, he's in my house.
Yeah.
He's seen, well, he can't see my driveway because there's 4 foot of snow all the way back on it.
Yeah.
I should have sent you some pictures because it's just out of control.
You did, actually. I'll see if I can find it real quick.
But he's like, so we go through the whole thing, and then he's sitting on my couch and typing away on his computer, and he's like, yeah, you know, so they were running a deal right now where they'll give you the furnace if you buy the AC and pay for the installation on the whole thing.
Okay.
And he's like, yeah, it'll be like with the buy one get one deal, like probably around $10,000. And I was like,
Look at my house, bro.
that's
That's rude.
What?
That's rude that you would say that in my home.
how dare you tell me to sit before you say something like that to my face, man.
How often does somebody go, yes?
You know, now that
Well,
you mention it,
in
$10,000.
a $100,000 house, never. In a $250,000 home,
But I assume that they're getting like the $20,000 deal. You know what I mean?
well, yeah, that's the thing. That was
Economies of scale.
that's the smallest heater that they would sell, I assume, because I have a 1,200 square foot single story house. It doesn't take much to heat the damn thing.
No.
Just light a fire.
I don't know, man. Yeah, that'll end well.
That's fine.
Shit's wild, though.
I couldn't
It's
believe it.
expensive. Being an adult
We
is
found
expensive.
a more reasonable option.
Yeah.
So
But, yeah. Cuts into race car funds. Cuts into fun
All
money.
the funds.
Just fun money in general.
I couldn't believe it.
Going out to eat. Stuff like that. It sucks. Well, shit. While we're here,
Okay.
going out to eat. This used to be a show about cars. We went out to we went to Fuddruckers.
We did go to Fuddruckers.
We've been talking about burgers and French fries and all
Yeah,
that stuff.
yeah.
Does anybody have any opinions that they
So
want to share?
I didn't remember that Fuddruckers uses more of a wedge than a fry,
Okay.
which they were fine. They weren't great. They were fine.
So you just ordered the regular French fries and they were wedges. Is what
Right.
you're
They were
telling me.
more of like a wedge than a fry. You got a sweet potato fry.
Sweet potato fries were.
I forgot about the
were
sweet
good.
potato fries.
They were really good.
But I think that they have a better patty than Five Guys.
Yes.
That was a way better meal than when we've been at Five Guys.
But I think it's still the same mildly ridiculous price.
it was a little pricey.
Yeah, 12
But
bucks,
it's-
13 bucks.
The thing is, though, when we go to the Five Guys that's here,
Yeah.
you feel like it's kind of like a shithole because 7 billion people have been through there, and there's
Yeah.
no place
Today.
to sit.
Yeah.
In the last hour, and there's no place to sit, and you're like trying to find scrambling around and all that shit. At least when you go to Fuddruckers, there's tons of places to sit. It's just a better environment.
It's a
to be in.
restaurant. You know, it's
Yes.
not a small section of a building in a strip mall
Right.
where the Five Guys is. The
But
Five Guys could be triple the size and it would still be full all the time
Yes.
because it's not big enough.
I've been in there at like 3 p.m., which
But
you
I've
think would be
never-
a dead time.
Yeah.
There's 6 billion people in there.
I've never been to one that's not
Always busy.
and that's any bigger than the one we have. The
Yeah,
one
they're
in
all the same
Ankeny is
square
the same
footage.
size. They're
Yeah.
all the same rough.
Yep,
like,
roughly.
They could all be 3 times that size and they'd be just as busy.
Then people could sit somewhere.
Right.
But so to my point, the price is slightly more justified at Fuddruckers
I also
because
think-
there's
I think
And they pick up your waste and
I
throws
think
it
it's
away
a
for
better burger.
Yes.
Said it.
you. You're not going to get any argument from me.
I think it's.
I've been saying this for
I don't
a
know
long
if anybody
time.
else is going to argue with this.
I
either.
remember. So like, very little me, like 6-year-old me, remembers we were up here from Kansas visiting my grandparents, and we were in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and we went to a Fuddruckers, and I like specifically remember that burger like defining what I felt as a good burger, and now I've kind of rediscovered that place because it'd been so long since I'd gone there. I mean, I've been there once or twice since I moved here,
Yep.
but not regularly, and it was probably a 15-year span between the time I went when I was a little kid and the first time I went after moving here.
Isn't it so disappointing when you have an experience like that and it sticks with you, and then you try to recreate that experience,
But
And it's not
Fuddruckers
the
didn't
same?
disappoint me, at least. It's still a really good burger.
but it didn't? You didn't. That memory isn't tainted by the fact that it wasn't the same.
I'm not mad about that memory.
Okay. I feel like the first time I went to Five Guys, I had that was like, wow, this is
so
Yeah.
good.
This is so good. This is
Right.
different.
But that's how I
This is
feel
better.
about Fuddruckers. Or that's how I remember Fuddruckers as like 6-year-old Adam, is that it was life-changing.
Changing.
And I mean, it's hard for food to be life-changing when you're 30.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
As compared to
unless
a
you go to
six-
Booney's birthday
as
party.
compared to a 6-year-old.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like you've tried so many more things. You don't just eat chicken strips
Right.
at every restaurant you go.
As you
to.
get older, food becomes more disappointing. The things you spend money on get way
Super
less
more
interesting.
Yeah,
Everything.
absolutely. All right, look at that. We
You're like,
brought
oh, look at all this money come. Like 6-year-old, you would be like, wow, look at all this money that comes in every week. It's crazy.
It never stops. It's amazing.
30-year-old you's like, fuck, this is not enough money.
The
Dude,
bills just keep coming.
It's like, everybody
All I do
wants
is
some of
work
this
and
money.
sleep and work and sleep, and it's still not enough.
I'm just saying that life's just a downhill spiral till you die. That's all.
Six
that's what
was
I'm
peak,
supposed-
apparently.
Six is your peak.
Yep.
That's about
That's the point we're trying to make with this
That's
show.
Here, we'll bring it back to cars. That's about the age where, like, the first car that I remember being emotionally attached to that was my father's was around that age. It was a 67, I believe, first gen Firebird that was baby blue. And I remember being, like, exceedingly upset with him for selling it when he did as a young child, probably in the 4 to 6 year old range. I loved that car.
Yeah, I was trying to think back. I remember.
That's like my first car that I remember being real emotionally attached to as a child.
I'm trying to think. I don't know. Well, we had the GMC that we have now, so I guess I didn't
Right.
have that same experience because
Right.
we got that when I was, 4th grade, 5th grade, something like that.
Yeah.
So around that age, and then I don't know. We had a Monte Carlo, like a 70 Monte Carlo, that for some reason I really liked.
Yeah.
It's like not a great car. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. It's just this.
Was it an
it's
SS or
huge.
anything?
It was just a 350.
Just a run-of-the-mill Monte Carlo.
Yep, three-speed auto.
But it's not even like a good year.
It's huge.
Yeah.
It's the biggest thing of all. It's like take a Chevelle, which is huge, and then add some to the end of it on both ends.
On the front and
it's
the
so look at it's huge.
probably on the top and in the middle as well.
That building in the
massive.
background's a skyscraper. It's just you can't tell. It's
Those
confusing.
are really big windows.
Right,
actually.
yeah, that's 3-story windows back there. It's just, it's like look how much space is in front of that front wheel and then behind the back wheel, and it's so spacious on the inside. It's like a 4-door car, but it's 2 doors.
Just a big old boat.
And if they crashed it, you'd probably die.
Well, everyone around you would die.
Maybe
probably
you
would
wouldn't
too,
know.
because they're not even safe.
You'd never-
That's the wild thing about it. Like, it's huge and made of metal. Like, it's metal, right?
Yes.
Like everything. That door weighs 400 pounds, and will fold like paper if a semi runs into the side of it. A smart car probably would get a better crash rate test rating. I mean,
Yeah, this is a car. When you repair it, you use the lead.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I wish that was still a thing. Everybody's worried about lead poisoning and all that crap, so no one knows how to do it anymore.
Back when kids were tough.
God, I don't like that grill.
What was it? Was that guy's name Larry? We've talked about him on the show. Was that guy's name Larry also? The dude did the leading for Jesse James.
Oh, I couldn't
you
even
remember?
begin to tell you.
Indian Larry?
Not Indian Larry, but the other guy that used to do all the leading for Jesse
Oh,
James. He died
shoot.
last year, maybe. We
Yeah,
talked about
I remember
him.
we
Yeah.
talked about
I
when he
can't remember-
passed away. We
I
talked
can't.
about it.
I'll never be able to
Someone's streaming at the radio right now.
I'll never be able to
It's
Google it and find it. 'Cause
Someone who's been going
he's-
back through our back episodes trying
Which
to
apparently
find when
is
I
everybody.
said that I would never own a minivan.
we owe Justin a shirt, right?
We owe Justin.
We'll
give
I think
him one
we owe
when we
Justin
see
a
him.
shirt, but Daniel doesn't get one because he can't find what I said that I would never own a van because I didn't.
So
I think
anyway,
he gets a shirt anyways.
my point was that guy that used to do it for Jesse James always had a huge stogie and was leading.
Absolutely.
And he lived until like 89 years old. And he did that shit every day. He's just in this cloud of smoke,
Toxic everything. All
a cloud
the time.
of cigar smoke and lead smoke.
Yeah.
He's just breathing it.
Yeah.
You know? He doesn't give a shit. He's fine.
Maybe
he lived
the-
a great life.
Maybe the two canceled each other out.
Two wrongs make it right.
Yeah.
So he's smoking to try to cut
Yeah.
the toxins. Isn't
Yeah.
that's
It's
from
called,
It Always Sunny?
It's called building the tolerance.
That's true.
Well, you
They-
just the cigar smoke carries all the lead back out of his lungs.
Well, they
He's
said
fine.
in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, if you eat apple seeds, because that'll kill you.
Yeah.
Because they'll germinate.
What?
You got to smoke cigarettes.
reals?
Yeah,
They
to
said,
kill-
no.
I was gonna say
Their joke was, if
the fuck?
yeah, he
There's
ate
no way that's a
he
thing.
ate an apple core. Charlie ate an apple core or something like that. And Mac's like, you have to smoke cigarettes. It's the only way to kill the seeds. So
I just love it. Like people like it takes gum 7 years to go through your digestive system. No, more like 7 hours, but whatever.
How fast
everybody's
are
an
you
expert.
pooping?
I don't know. Like, but I don't, isn't that like a rough time?
It's every 7 hours. I'm
No,
completely emptying
no, I
my
don't.
bowels.
No, but
No.
that'd be a horrible existence.
Let me tell you about my week.
I didn't get anything done at
How'd
work.
you sleep last night? Terrible.
Every 7 hours.
Either terrible or great. Shit myself and didn't wake up, or you're basically just a baby. You're
you
a
just
baby
gotta
at that
time
point.
it.
You
gotta
gotta set an
time it.
alarm.
Yeah.
An alarm
It
that goes
was
off
the
every
alarm.
7
Man, if I got
hours.
7 hours of sleep consecutively, that'd be great. Are you kidding me?
You know what'd suck is if like
Changed
that's
my life.
if it is 7 hours on the dot, if that happened like right before you had a job interview or something like that. You know, you're right in that meeting.
Get food poisoning right.
Hold on, I gotta take a
Hold
shit.
on.
I'll be right back.
My point was, it's more. It's closer to 7 hours than it is 7 years. Is what
I will give you
that.
that. I will give you that.
We talked about cars for a brief moment. There
I
was a
tried. I
moment
tried
that
to bring
some
it back
cars-
around.
There
It's
was some
Friday
guy-
night. It's getting wild in here. We got a LaCroix.
We had some burgers.
We had some burgers. Every time I've gone to Fuddruckers, I walk away going, why don't I go to Fuddruckers more often?
Right?
I have never
was
said that
great.
about any other restaurant.
Yeah. That's where I'm
Fuddruckers
at
is
on
always
it.
the one going, I don't eat this enough.
No, I'm with you on that. It's good stuff.
Don't at me. I don't want.
It's
I
in
don't-
a
I don't care what
slightly
you think.
inconvenient location for us.
It's right.
No,
it's
it's not.
literally across the street from the Five
is.
Guys that we've driven out of our way to eat at more
No,
than
I
once.
won't. I won't drive out of my way to go to that Five Guys.
I know, but we have.
We've gone to
Yes.
that Five Guys multiple times, and we could have just walked across the street.
And Robbie loves Red Robin, which is literally across the street.
Yes.
we could go to Red Robin also.
No, we're going to Fuddruckers. We've already decided.
No, I just because the fries are bottomless doesn't make it better.
They're not very good. They're
Yeah,
just
Red
kind of
Robin?
okay.
Fuddruckers are better.
The Red Robin fries, the bottomless fries.
I don't really like
kinda whatever.
Red Robin that much.
I like some of their burgers.
So
Yeah, it's okay. Shall we move on?
If I must.
Adam, you have an opener
I do.
presented by Factor Fabrication. Let's do that.
It is. So I don't even remember where I came across this. I've came across this in the past before. Didn't really think anything of it. Then somewhat recently came across it again, and it got me kind of wondering how it works. Red Bull drift shifters. Have you ever heard of this, Michael?
Drift shifters, are those
Resident
RC?
drift? No.
They're not?
This
Go-karts.
is a Red Bull sponsored drifting event
No.
put on by my favorite drifter, Mad Mike.
Oh, of course. Yes.
He's-
I
he's
have. I have.
Europe, right?
He's
yes.
my dude.
Yep.
Well,
sorry.
originally they were in New Zealand and
that
or
makes way more
Australia.
sense.
I know last year they managed to get at least one event in England, and I think he's kind of slowly working on making this a series.
I think I saw the coverage of the England one last year.
Yeah, probably. So the big thing about this, so they set up a course. It's usually like a tighter course than what you would see at a Formula Drift event.
Like a city street.
It's on a city street most of the time. Any footage that I've seen has been on city streets.
Yep.
It's invite only. They usually, I think it was like 12 or 15 guys that they get invited. And the biggest difference between this and most any other competitive drifting is that this is not judged by a human being. They use a combination of proximity sensors and police radar guns and the sorts to score points based on your proximity to objects and the speed in which you enter and exit obstacles.
Okay.
So you're saying the computers have taken over the jobs of the humans.
I'm saying that a lot of people's biggest complaint about Formula Drift and its spin-offs
Or any judged
is
sport
that
event.
it's judged, and much like gymnastics, it can be biased and bullshit. Whereas there is a defined way in which you need to drive to score points, and if you do it correctly, you'll win, and if you don't, you won't. And there's no human error in the scoring. There's no argument with the judging. It is just what it is. And I think that it's an interesting way of doing things. It's fun to watch. I enjoyed it because they do a really cool job of setting up
obstacles and
pretty interesting courses. It's very similar to like if you watch one of Ken Block's Gymkhana events, not the videos, but the racing series that he does. It's very similar to that. I would say maybe dialed back a little bit because there's not like swinging crane balls and crazy shit like that. But
yeah, your risk of death is a little less.
yeah, I don't know that there's any real risk to Gymkhana either, I'm sure. But
No.
So this judging approach is very interesting because
Yeah.
I think and I say interesting meaning potentially odd and maybe doesn't achieve what a lot of people would like to see judging achieve for drifting, which is that it's more style based,
yeah,
which is subjective, and you can't have these defined, electronic parameters that you have to meet in order to be judged on style.
So I think almost exclusively the people who dislike the way that Formula Drift is judged are people who are not drifters. Like say a club racer, like a guy who's always been running Time Attack or Spec Miata or whatever it is. He's like, that's dumb.
Yeah,
It's decided by a human. Like that's just dumb. That's like diving or gymnastics. Like there's no true defined winner because it could be argued that any of those people could have been the winner, and that's not how I think that racing should be. I think that's the argument you hear the most, and I don't think that argument is usually from drifters.
well,
Because
so I
think
hear a
most
different
people-
argument.
Most people agree with the fact that judging should be based on style.
Yeah,
And I think that if you're going to get an argument from drifters, it's that Formula Drift's judging isn't enough based on style.
yes, yeah, exactly.
But style is subjective. What one person wants to see may not necessarily be what another person wants to see.
Yeah, it is to some extent. I mean,
I want to see reverse entries, but I
Yes.
understand why it doesn't work in tandem competition racing.
Yes.
It doesn't work.
No, you
I
can't
wanna
follow.
see it.
You can't follow a
You can't
reverse
follow
entry.
a reverse entry. That's not how
can't-
that works.
You can't match angle on a reverse entry.
No.
That's not really a thing.
So I understand why that rule is in place. I'm sad about it, but I agree with it being there.
They should just let them do it in practice,
I don't disagree with
or not
that.
in practice, but in qualifying.
Qualifying.
Yeah.
See, I think that you have to judge your qualifying the same as you're going to judge your competitive runs, your tandem runs, or else that doesn't make any sense at all. You have to have a uniform set of rules that are followed from start to finish, or else that doesn't work. Because just because I can reverse entry doesn't mean I can run the course the way they're looking for it when it's judged and I'm tandeming. So the rules need to be the same.
Well, you'll just get knocked out then.
Well,
you
that's
won't.
fair.
You won't win. I mean,
Well, then
you're,
yeah,
you're
you
right.
can't.
You're right.
Then
though.
you
You're
can't.
right.
There's no one who is stopping you from doing a reverse entry
No.
drift during qualifying. If you're okay with saying I'm not going to qualify anyway, so screw it.
No, you'll still qualify as long as you
As
don't.
long as high.
As long as you don't go. Is it 2 or 3 off? I don't remember.
Right, but it's
You'll still qualify. You'll still get a qualifying score.
but it's not as good.
Yeah, you won't go.
It
for
will be a
top.
lesser
It'll
score.
it'll be less. When Denofa did it in St. Louis, he got like a 86. Or
Well, he
something.
already
But I
had a
think
really
that
good
he was
score.
Yeah, he had a
already
good.
in.
He had a good
He was in the
qualifying
show.
score. Yeah, but
That's
you
what I'm
can't.
saying.
You can't. That was like a media and marketing phenomenon when he did that. So
I agree that it's one for the fans, right?
yeah, but then
It's all
Formula
it's,
Drift
drifting is-
published it.
Drifting
and-
is supposed to be about the show, and that's the hard line to walk. You know.
Don't they during the driving meeting kind of tell them what they're looking for?
Yes, yeah. So we were not supposed to go to the drivers' meeting. I think a couple media guys were in there, but we're not supposed to be in there.
Yep.
And they tell you, they get out their map and they show you where you need to be, and this is your inside outside zones. Braking.
This is the line or
right.
whatever.
Yep. Exactly. We expect you to not brake when you enter this corner or whatever. They go through that whole thing, and
Yep.
they should. And so, in that case, you get kind of a defined set of parameters that you need to meet in order to get a good score. But it's still, to Adam's point, Brian may see that differently than Ryan or whatever.
Right.
And that's how you get some judging.
And I'm not saying
disagreements.
that's my feeling towards judged drifting.
No.
I'm saying that's the argument I see as a guy who does not follow a lot. Like, I'm not in a bunch of drifting groups,
Yeah.
but like if you see a discussion about drifting on Track Midwest, that's going to be the tone of that group of guys.
Yeah.
Because
It's not racing.
It's not racing.
Well,
That's
what's
not
your
a-
definition of racing? Then?
But then those are the same people most of the time who don't consider autocross or time attack to be racing.
Yes.
And I
agree.
don't think I agree with that statement either.
Right. If you go by that definition, like HPDE is not racing, autocross isn't racing.
I don't think that
time attack
HPDE
isn't
is racing. But if it's competitive, it's racing. To me,
Okay.
motorsport.
If legit time.
competitive.
Competitive motorsports is
I
racing.
think motorsport and racing are synonymous.
yes.
In my mind, that's how they are. I think some people see racing as you're wheel to wheel and you got to be the first person across the finish line or you're the loser. And motorsports is anything done competitively with a car. I think that's how some people see those two
That's
words.
kind of how I do it.
I think they're the same word.
I think
if you say drift race, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, actually.
Time attack,
So-
drifting,
Actually, if you-
autocross, road course.
If you run
fucking
away
mud boggers,
if you run
it's
away
all
from
racing.
your tandem, your dude that's tandeming with you, like that's good for your score. So
Yeah.
I mean, is that racing at that point? Then I mean, I don't know. It's not timed, but
It's semantics. I mean,
yeah.
Well,
if you're
but there's
faster than that
there's
person,
there's not a guaranteed defined winner.
no.
That's their biggest complaint. So with this
That's what-
drift shifters thing, if your score is the highest based on a predetermined set of rules that are and that score is done off of computers, just like timing and scoring is done in a wheel-to-wheel race, you're the winner. But so some of the interesting things I've seen that they do in drift shifters specifically. So the one I watched a bunch of footage from was the one that they did in the UK last year, and the ending to finish off so it's timed. You have to
Right.
You can do all these different. I think they don't really. I looked for a while, and they don't have like a way that they don't clearly define how the points are scored or how the run is determined. I know that there's a time. I think that you can do any or all of the obstacles more than once, but I think you're only like your best score on that individual obstacle is the one that counts.
Okay.
I think. But then to finish it, you have to come to a complete stop inside of essentially a parking space, like what you have talked about before with that closest to the table or whatever.
Oh, you have to drift into a parking
You have
spot,
to drift
basically.
into a
Yeah.
A stop
short
box.
area, a stop box. Yeah,
But
you
not
have to.
but not drive into it.
No, you have
no,
to
you
drift
slide
into it.
into
You
it.
slide into it,
Parallel
and
park
stop,
it.
That's
and
cool.
the closer you are and the more centered on it you are, the higher that score will be, and you have to come to a complete stop before you run out of time or you're done.
Okay.
And so that's one of the things. I know that like the one I watched with Mad Mike, he was running through the event, and he was down on points, and he was not looking like he was going to win it, and he was running out of time, and he slid in there and he basically nailed it, like as close to the wall and as centered as you could be, and got like some huge. I mean, it's like 500,000 points scored type deal.
Like
So
a
he got
video game.
So he got like 250,000 points for his stop because it was so close to perfect, and was just barely managed to eke out a win with it. And and it was right down to the last second, and it was. I mean, it's exciting. It's fun, and you've got the scoreboard up there, and so all these people, because they're like literally in downtown London, basically. I don't remember if it's some large UK
But
city.
we'll call it London.
Call
it's
it
good
London,
enough.
because that whole area is probably London at this point, isn't it?
If
The
you're
whole
if you're
thing-
in Europe, it's London.
Like where Ireland is and all that, that's London. Up
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
All the way. Scotland, that's also
I
London.
don't think we have a lot of English listeners, so it's fine.
We're going to find them this week.
But I would imagine that like just like Formula E, you're putting this racing event in a place where people don't normally see it, and they're going to be a part of it because they're so close to it, and being able to see that score and know like, oh, he has to score 450,000 points or he's not going to beat the last guy, makes it really easy for an uneducated audience to be engaged in it. I think that it's a good thing for drifting because I can go and I can watch it and I can get really excited about drifting, and then I could go home and get on the internet and start learning about it and working towards, and then, oh, well, I really enjoyed that, but now I understand more about drifting, and so I'm going to watch other competitive racing, and so I'm going to watch Formula D and learn about its judging process and what that means and stuff like that. But I think that this is a better way to engage people who don't know what they're watching.
yeah, because I think the scoring is very similar to like how you do drift video games.
Yeah,
So,
like
like,
if,
you-
like
like it's-
Underground too,
Yeah, you see you take the slide and you see your points just rack up,
Yeah.
and it's like great drift, and then it's like 1,000,000 points.
multiplier.
Yeah, exactly.
But I like that. I think it's good for the sport.
I think so. I think it's going to bring in the non-enthusiast and turn them into an enthusiast type stuff.
I think that drifting is kind of unique in motorsports in the fact that a lot of people who drift didn't start out in what would be considered lower level, entry level motorsports. Like, a lot of road racers didn't just jump straight to club racing. They started out in autocross, and then they were like, okay, I really like this. This is a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's go to a track day or two. Okay, this is awesome. I'm going to buy a spec Miata.
Right.
Right? They kind of work up that ladder. Whereas I think a lot of drifters are just like, drifting? Sounds great. Let's do this.
Yeah, sick of my skateboard, so now it's time
Because
to
I know,
drift.
like, the guys we've talked to, like, I don't think Kevin has a whole lot of motorsport experience outside of drifting.
Right.
Riley Sexsmith, when we talked to him a couple years ago now, I mean, that's all he'd ever done was drifting.
Yeah.
And and he's been quite successful. He's got a name for himself, and I know that some of our local guys, like, yeah, I think they went to an autocross or two, but they were never like, this is great, They were just like, well, I can't drift as much as I'd like. Let's try this.
Yeah.
And didn't stick with it because it's not what they were looking for.
Yeah. I think drifting as a sport has a lot of challenges that they need to address in order to grow.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of them.
Yeah, we've talked about
You need a
that.
lower barrier to entry. a lot of people aren't going to like this comment, but I'm going to make it anyway. I think that everybody needs to
Clean it up.
clean it up. Yeah. That's probably the best way to put it.
You mean writing off a car every season?
Stop writing off cars. Stop writing off other people's cars. I mean, that's going to probably hit a little close to home to a couple people that listen to this show, but I think for the sport to be seen more commercially, which means it can grow at the top end and at the bottom, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can't be writing off cars and thinking that's like a cool part of the lifestyle.
No, because I think if you have someone that's on the fence about it and they're watch people drift and they see like that's awesome, then all of a sudden,
You're that guy. Exactly.
I'm 100% that
Because
guy. That's the reason
the
I won't take
240's
the 240
been
out.
like the thing you've owned longer than anything else you've ever
It's
owned
the
in your
longest
life.
commitment I've ever had to anything ever. Yes, I'm aware.
Nice.
Hey, you took it there, not me. But like that car's your pride and joy, and the thought of someone plowing into the side of it in such a way is something that you can't.
No, I can't.
Cross.
No, I won't do it.
Yeah.
Like I would have to be so confident in my ability to even consider taking it drifting.
Right,
again.
and the problem is that no matter how good you are, doesn't account for the
I
guy
can't trust him
front or
to
behind.
not-
I'm going to crash into his
Yeah,
shit because I don't care.
Exactly.
He's got no mechanical sympathy for his car or
mine.
yours.
No, when I look at it, I'm like, man, I love this car. It's a great car. And then you get me in there, I'm like, fuck everybody. Let's do this.
That car needs more red.
That's usually what happens.
Yep.
Even if it's
So,
not my car.
That's the thing too. Is like I'm curious how I'm going to be in the Z, and if that mechanical sympathy is just gone, or if I still have to kind of break through that barrier. Of
Well,
like,
I think you bought the car with the intention of taking it drifting.
Yes.
You know what you're getting into from the
Yes.
start.
and my budget is like limited.
Yeah, and you don't have the like thousands of hours of blood, sweat, and tears and mistakes and learning and stuff like that you have in the 240. The
Yes.
240 is like a car that defined you as a car enthusiast through multiple stages of being a car enthusiast.
Yes,
and so it's hard to just
I can't. I'm not going to
Write that car off.
If I write that car off, it better be something went seriously wrong and
Right.
not just like
And
I kind of made a mistake drifting.
I
one
understand that, taking it out on a track, regardless of the situation, there is that possibility,
Yes.
but I think it's higher with drifting than it is with other.
Yeah, the probability goes way up. I think if I make a mistake in time attack and take it off at 100 and whatever miles an hour, just blow through a turn,
Right.
it's not going to be quite as dramatic as if I completely screw up a tandem and just slam into the next guy or
goal-
the wall or whatever.
The goal in relation to you and other people on that track is to stay as far away from each other as you can,
Yeah.
not be up in each other's doors.
Which is why at Grid Life, what was it, the fifth one or the last one of the year in October?
Round 5.
Yeah, 5.
Round
yeah.
5, where I totally blew through that corner and took through the pits again, and I'm just like, I need more space. I came out way too early. I was in the front of the line. Just put me in the back. I'm not,
But not so far in the back that the front guy comes back.
Just I want
away
lapping
from
time.
that guy.
I want to be by myself lapping.
Right. Yeah.
The track's wet. Fuck everybody.
right.
Just scared. I wasn't comfortable, and I
Yeah.
wanted my space.
So, I don't know.
I'm the same way in life as I am on the track. Leave me the fuck alone.
Stay away from Robbie.
Just fuck people. I'm by myself today.
You getting
Okay?
that people ain't no good tattoo?
Yeah, I don't know where to put it.
You got to get that stay
Across
away
your
shit.
forehead.
I can't put stay away on my knuckles.
That's awesome. Isn't that great?
I don't disagree with that statement.
I love Post Malone's. It says stay away on his eyebrow.
I can't love anything about that guy.
Fucking love that guy.
I don't know.
I don't know where
I'm out.
I don't know
man.
where I
Can't
would put
be-
people ain't no good.
I can't be in on him. Sorry.
I'm in.
No, I'm gonna be Switzerland. I just don't want to know he exists. How about that? He's fine. Just don't bother
Are you telling me
with it.
that he doesn't exist in Switzerland? Because I might move.
Maybe not. I don't know.
So
Was that it on drifting?
I don't know. I
different-
thought that it was cool.
It's different enough that I think you get people that would watch both.
I think it's a good way to get into the sport, not knowing a damn thing about it.
This might be controversial, but I don't know
It's what we do here.
that we know that like Formula Drift is the thing that's going to define drifting.
no, it's
Pretty
too-
new.
Yeah, it's fairly young.
And there's NASCAR and F1 and there's other stuff. Nothing says that the way that Formula Drift does it is the right way to do it.
No, and I think there's room for all of this because
it's growing.
This kind of showcases the driver's skill a little better. Like being able to maintain real close proximity to a wall while your car's at a 48-degree angle to it, and you're sliding around this like 270-degree circle, and you're hugging a bear. Like you see Ken Block doing all his videos.
Sure.
People go apeshit over those videos because seeing the level of car control that he exhibits is something that's wild. And this gives professional drifters an opportunity to do the same thing in a competitive environment.
Well, and I think
that's a little harder to showcase in the way that Formula Drift is done.
Sure.
I think that it's two very different ways of showcasing how good a driver is.
But this might be good too if this catches on, because then guys in Formula Drift could do this as well. I mean, it's
that's
too,
what's happening
too
now.
small and too far away for people to really cross over significantly.
Yeah. No, I think they're only holding,
but I think
at most they're doing 2 events a year with it, and it's only like 2, maybe 3 years old. It's a pretty new and small thing, and right now it's invite only from what I understand. And
well, I don't know that Mad Mike was ever super thrilled with the potential of FD, which I assume is why he got out of it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right.
Well, I think last year he ran a full season of Japan's Formula Drift.
Oh, he did. So he's just doing it there. But he did US FD for a while.
He did it for a few years on and off. I watched a documentary that they have on the Red Bull website, like a 10-minute documentary about him and his growth into professional level drifting. And he flat out said, like, America was the promised land. If you can go from New Zealand to drifting at a professional level in America, like that's the sign of making it.
That's weird that the exact same story that Ellis tells, Jason Ellis.
Yeah.
Like that was the thing. Like he's just some punk kid skateboarding in Australia.
But if he can make it in LA.
Right, but then all of a sudden, people are asking him to come to America. It's like this is it.
Well, I mean, say what you want about the country and its condition, but I think it's
the land of opportunity.
Right. It's still in a lot of foreign countries' eyes, it's still
this is the
definition of making it.
The greatest country on earth, America.
I mean, we got a lot of awesome things here.
Except for Switzerland, they don't have Post Malone.
And they have strong
and they have watches.
Strong
contender. And amazing mountains.
And gold.
The mountains.
Banking.
Swiss bank accounts.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's how you know you've made it.
Knives.
Swiss bank knives.
Swiss
nice knives. Chocolate.
Shit.
Oh,
I'm not that much of a chocolate guy.
Yeah, but it's the best.
But it is the best.
I think they have good confectionery.
And if you're going to have something, I want it to be the best. So
they're not going to get involved in a war.
No, which isn't all bad.
Their peace.
They're not going to get nuked.
Peace. No.
I mean, probably not. No, they're pretty low on the list.
I would hope so. Yeah.
Yes, they got to definitely be near the bottom.
Right. Yeah, they're down there with like, I don't know. New
they
Zealand,
are the bottom,
probably?
I think. Yeah, probably New Zealand.
I mean, they're pretty chill, right? Australia's pretty chill.
Don't they have Geneva?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's where everyone goes to like not fight.
Yeah, that sounds great.
To decide that we're done with this fighting thing.
Let's just move to Switzerland.
I'm in.
I'm out.
I don't think it's warm there though.
Oh,
it's got mountains and shit.
I think.
Yeah, but
have.
at least they can do.
Literally every picture is like a background of a computer.
At least when it.
What the hell is it?
It's a desktop background.
Yeah, absolutely.
Of Switzerland.
But the thing is, like, they get snow, but at least they can use it.
The Swiss Alps, man.
We get snow, and we live in this flat place where there's nothing, and it just piles up in my front yard.
Ugh.
Yes.
At least when it snows there, we can go skiing.
Don't they have the best spring water
I love
in the world?
skiing. Skiing's great.
They have great water.
I'm sure they have all kinds
water.
of wild water.
We didn't even. Yeah, I mean that's on brand also.
Yeah, if somebody wants to ship us a Swiss water,
that'd be great. That'd be great to try.
I would drink it.
And
there's look, there's a castle in the middle of the.
They got castles.
Castles?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ! What are we even doing?
You know how many
here?
castles we have? None.
I don't know.
Not any good ones.
Well, like define
crap.
castle, because that house on the north end of Ankeny kind of looks like one.
Yeah, but it's made out of like wood and plaster.
Yeah,
and shit.
that's fair. It's only like 10 years old.
Yeah, that's not a castle.
How old does a building have to be before I can call it a castle?
It has to be-
400 years old.
Yeah, and it has to be made out of like
It's good that we define
rocks
that.
and bricks and stuff.
So Disney, that's not a castle. That's just a building.
Nah, that's
It's not
definitely
old
just a
enough
building.
yet.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Look at that.
God,
Why would you not want to work there, live there? You set your life up
And look
there.
at that picture. You know how many people are in that picture?
None. There's no fucking people in that picture.
there's all buildings.
And that's just like a watchtower to look at all the not people.
You go there and look how many people aren't there.
Wait a minute, there's people coming.
Shit. Time to move on. Yeah, that's great. No, that's a great plan. We're moving to
They have
Switzerland.
a tower to watch to make sure that people aren't coming.
Yeah.
that's what Robbie thinks that building is.
it's for wildlife
And
watching.
then you just yell, "Hey, I'm up here!" And they're like, "Oh, sorry!" And they go,
Whoa, over
"There's
here.
a guy up there. We're not going up there.
We gotta find another up there somewhere else.
There's another mountain over here. We'll go up that mountain. Hopefully, there's not a guy on that one." Sounds like Robbie's dream home.
I wonder if they have racetracks. I bet they have bitchin' roads.
No, isn't it Switzerland that automotive racing is banned?
It probably
that's
is. That's
rough.
like, yeah, say
There's got to be something, right? There's got to be a deal breaker, right?
that would be it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you on that one.
Yeah, Switzerland banned motor racing in 1955 after an accident that happened at Le Mans.
Oh.
Oh, I
It doesn't
remember
even
that.
make any
They killed
sense.
like 40 people, though.
Well,
Yeah,
you
it was awful.
They should have been standing there.
That's almost literally what it was. It's just a bunch of people in a crowd, and the car went through the not Kent Finch because it didn't have one.
So they changed some laws. So maybe it's coming around.
Yeah.
Isn't that where that crazy road is?
Yeah, but you can't speed there because you go to jail forever.
Oh, that's
Or
right.
they have maybe it's I think it's means tested traffic tickets.
How far? Oh, yeah, it is. It is means. Like
Yep.
it's based on your income.
Here you go,
Yes.
Adam.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Look at that. Oh man,
What's the name of that road?
It's just, I don't know, just
It's just a road.
Grimsel
A
Pass.
road.
It's just
Yeah,
another
it's just-
road.
it's just a
in-
random
it's
road.
just another road in the
That's
Swiss Alps.
Road A and Road B.
Yeah.
They all
Yeah.
look like that.
How far away are they from like Norway or?
You're up there.
Isn't that where
All that shit's really small.
Isn't that where
It's kinda-
Gottabille is?
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be just like driving to Nebraska?
Actually, that's a good point. If you lived in Switzerland, if you wanted to go to like Germany, it would take you like a small
It'd be
amount
like
of time.
we
know
were
what I mean?
talking about like to drive to Mid Ohio for us is a 10-hour drive.
Yeah, it'd be like that.
But that'd be like driving to Spa or the Nürburgring.
Yes.
You know, I could
It's
deal
like an
with.
hour and a half from Milan, Italy.
Seriously,
It is?
Yeah.
Isn't everything an hour and a half
it was
away
that,
in Europe?
It was that
though?
close.
It's like dead center in all of
Yeah.
Europe. Like there's France too.
It's Austria, Germany.
See, well, just because you can't race,
Yeah,
it'd be like
there's lots of stuff
I
in
mean,
France.
technically, if you want to get nitpicky about it, we can't race in Iowa either. really.
Yes, exactly.
We
So
gotta
what
go-
difference does it make?
It's no different.
If we had mountains and Swiss
Yes.
chalet girls and all
Yes.
that stuff,
Oh,
I'd
I didn't
stay
even
here.
think about
the women.
that.
We didn't even think about the women.
I would stay
Damn.
here. Or look, you're down there. You could go to the south of France and Italy. There's tons of
Yeah,
good
Monaco's
stuff down
right there.
Yep, that's.
All right, we're done.
You don't have to live where you race. You just have to be able to get to the racetrack.
Exactly.
That's
That's
all
what
I'm
we
saying.
do now.
Yeah, so it's the same. Just
It's
we'd have
not
mountains
any different.
and
It's
chocolate
just
and
better.
watches
Knives.
and knives sold. Sold.
And
Moving
peace.
to Switzerland.
Peace.
And peace.
Oh, peace sounds nice. Hey, before we go any further, are we recording at all?
Yeah, we are.
Okay, the lights on the board.
Yeah, I
aren't
know. I if I press that button, the lights will come on, but I'm
Okay.
afraid to press that button in case
'Cause
something
we'll lose-
happens.
we'll lose it?
But I can see the meter on the
that we are
screen.
recording.
Yes.
Okay, because I don't want to go through the whole
Robbie's-
show.
I'd be
Robbie's-
so
Robbie's
pissed
having a
because this
fan.
is
Because
great.
I won't re-record. Like we'll just have
We'll just have no show.
no. It's to heck with it. We'll do
Robbie's
it. We'll do it
panicking.
next week.
I can press the button if it makes.
Ah,
it
I
better.
don't wanna do it.
Let's see what happens.
I s-
Are we good?
Oh,
wait, hold on a second.
There. No.
Everybody
Are we-
okay?
are we
Yeah,
recording?
Everybody
there.
still good?
Are we still recording?
Nothing happened. Yep, we're
Chest
good.
1, 2.
I'm gonna be so mad if it cuts out at that exact moment.
And that was it. Now it's not working. No,
Well, that's just the show then.
I have a meter.
I mean, that wouldn't. It's not the worst.
the
show
meter
we've
on
ever
the
done.
screen is the most important meter. This is just.
That's
This
for,
is the reassuring meter for
That's,
Robbie.
that's what makes Robbie feel better.
yeah, because then I know it's working
Yep,
supposedly.
there's we got the board. Go to the YouTube channel. You can see the board.
Yeah, we're pointing
That's
at the
what's
board.
happening. So, all right, is that it?
I think so.
For Switzerland, yeah.
I know we've talked about like 45 different topics.
no,
It's not going to get any better. from here.
Factoryfabrication.com. You can. Robbie's got the picture of the spiral staircase done, made out of the.
it's so
keep calling
bitchin'.
it an I-beam, but I don't think
Those
it's an I-beam.
those are like floating
it's like
stairs.
a boxed I-beam.
Yeah,
or something.
and it's not complete yet because there's still like covers on the wood. In
Good.
The
We
picture,
can come
but-
back to this at a
though.
later
Super
date.
bitchin'.
Yep.
I'm all about it. It's too bad it's in a house and I can't see it.
Yeah, we got to break into that house to see.
Nah,
it.
we could. We know people.
Make a phone call.
Make a phone call. Hey, we gotta look at the.
We want
Isn't it
quality
like
of the
very
welds.
far away though?
It's
don't
it's like on
remember.
the eastern side of Iowa, I think.
Oh yeah, never mind. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. Like,
it's not terribly far, but
downtown.
it's not. Yeah, we couldn't just drive.
Not
to
for
it.
something to go in there and go, wow,
Look at that staircase.
full Owen Wilson, and then walk out.
Exactly.
That's not worth it.
You could have them just take a
walk
picture
up and
send
down
it
at
to me.
once and like, all right, well,
Wow,
let's
yeah.
go.
That is neat. Is this up to code? It doesn't have a stair. It doesn't have a handrail.
Wow.
He's gonna get you because he's to be honest, he is really good at the code stuff.
I know he is.
He's gonna bitch slap you this week.
Is that angle safe? It seems awfully steep.
That code stuff in general sucks.
Yeah,
I won't go down that route. Let's just move past
Speaking of code, we're gonna bring it back to the furnace guy. He's like, "Oh yeah, it looks like in Nevada we have to pull a permit for work," and I was like, "Does that mean an inspector is gonna come to my house?" He's like, "Technically, we pulled a permit, but it's the homeowner's responsibility to call the inspector to schedule an appointment after the work has been completed, and you can do whatever you want." I was like, "Okay, good."
As long as you're gone.
Dude, there's no way that my electrical will pass an inspection.
I don't think it matters because it's existing.
Okay.
But I see your point. I think it's existing, and somebody at some point
My
it was
Somebody
breaker-
approved it one
My
time.
breaker panel, so you know, like breaker panels where the door opens up is raised a little bit,
Yes.
but then the rest of it, I mean, there's more to it than just where the fuses are.
Okay.
All the area that isn't door is behind drywall.
Oh.
So I've never,
Oh, so the panel cover is stuck behind drywall, so
Yes.
you can't take the panel cover off?
not without removing drywall.
Oh my god.
And so I never have, and I'm terrified too.
I would not either.
Let's pretend that's not there. Let's just, it's
And that's-
working. We're good.
And that's why I don't want an inspector to come in because they're gonna be like, "Yeah, you're gonna
No,
cut
I don't.
that off."
I don't. No.
Okay, yeah.
As long as you don't change anything, I think you're okay.
Somebody approved this at one point.
Don't ask me. Ask Track Dad because he would know.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's fair.
Somebody was I was having a conversation with somebody about electrical stuff for some reason.
Yeah.
And they were asking me, no, we were talking about wiring, and they said like, "Oh, you're the expert because your dad's an electrician." And I said, "No, that just means I've been electrocuted more times than most people."
Not the
I was put in
Expert's a very
situation-
loose definition.
I was put
apparently.
in I was put in situations, at 16
Young
or
ages.
18 that
Hold this.
kids normally don't, and I touched some 120 volt a couple times when I
Yeah.
shouldn't have. My
Yeah.
fault. But it happens when you're. Any electrician will have done it.
Here,
when,
hold
when they're
this
young.
spark plug. Pull on the ripcord. No, it's got spark. That's not why that lawnmower won't start.
That's always a fun. Who's gonna hold on a car? Who's gonna hold the plug wire off to see if it sparks? Meanwhile, you're like hunkered down, like
My dad's
as
got
far
these,
away from it as you can
My
be.
dad's got these like crazy. I think they're made out of fiberglass, like insulated
gloves.
pliers,
Oh.
Yeah, that's a
specifically
good idea.
designed for that process.
That's a good idea.
I think it's.
I remember on the farm, we're like, is that cattle fence on? I'm not walking all the way over there to find out.
It's on.
That's
Yep.
not that much.
No,
Current, though, is
it's
it?
enough to.
It's enough to.
It's probably like being hit by a 120 volt outlet.
And some of them will drop you to your knees if they're set up right.
It hurts. It's
dial
not fun.
tone, like on an old phone block,
Yeah.
is enough to really upset you when you're not expecting it. Because it's like, I want to say it's 60 volts DC. Been a while.
Is it that much?
I don't
I'm
know.
not-
You
I'm
might
not
be right
electrical
that
guy.
it's DC. DC.
I know
is
it's
bad.
DC. I
DC
know
is
it's
some
DC.
bad shit.
No, because it doesn't throw you.
Yes,
It
and
holds you.
when I was working in London, and I had to do like their equivalent of OSHA. They said there's still some stuff in downtown London that's 240 volt DC, and they're like, "You're done. There's
Yeah,
no coming
you
back."
vaporize.
They're like, "You can't get off of it.
You get baked from the inside.
You're a
out.
barbecue, and you will turn into dust. So do not go anywhere near."
Sorry. It's around 48 volts DC.
So it is DC.
It is DC. I knew it was DC.
Yeah,
It's
that would
48 volts
suck.
DC, and you know it's there.
Yeah, you'll find it.
Yeah, because like when I was toning out lines for apartment drops, it was easier to just use your finger, like hold the toner in one hand and use your finger with the other.
Yeah,
Because, because if you rub the end of your toner probe on there, it makes all this feedback. But if you just run your finger down it and hold the other end, your other hand hold the toner wand,
Oh,
it'll beep through you.
Oh, interesting.
No problem.
But you get electrocuted doing that every once in a while.
But if there's because like this day and age, who has home phone like landline, right? Nobody.
I have one, but I've never had a phone.
I have it,
Right.
but it's not even hooked up outside.
Right. Exactly.
So, like, you have a phone number, but
Yeah, it was
so it's
cheaper to do
like-
that as a
Yep.
bundle.
So the chances of it happening are pretty low, but it's
just FYI.
you'll know.
This is like a real contracting podcast now. This has we've gone down a
I'm telling
route
you,
that
man,
we
we
haven't
need to
really.
do a construction podcast.
We talked about cars a little bit.
I got like 4 people that have told me like, hey man, if you do it, like I can help you host or whatever. It's like Jesus Christ.
Yep. All right, shall we move on? For having no topic this week, this is going to be a long
longest
show.
episode
Yeah,
ever.
we should probably keep rolling. Do you want to do your rant and rave about CDLs
Do we
for a
want to
second?
talk about driver's license tests?
It's up to you, yeah, if you want to.
Yeah, so recently lost one of my CDL drivers. Bob, if you're listening, I'm still mad at you about it.
Fuck you, Bob.
Yeah, Bob. What the fuck?
There you go. No, I love Bob. That's not-
no, I
that's
did
not
too.
fair.
But I'm not mad at Bob. Bob's my man. But
I'm mad.
Probably doesn't.
Robbie can be mad for me.
You better not say that because Bob will probably take it personally.
I like that guy.
So I
Such
had
a nice guy.
I had to go and like just quickly get a chauffeur's license so that at least I could drive our bucket truck.
This is a contracting podcast.
For the time being, right? And so, so I got to experience the DMV in all of its glory,
It's
and
always fun.
yeah, so it wasn't like my personal experience with the DMV and the driving test and stuff like that wasn't that bad, but so I took my chauffeur's driver's test yesterday, and all that's required for the chauffeur license is you have to back into a parking spot
Okay.
in their lot, and then you go for a street drive. Like I just literally drove around the block and went back, and it was fine. It was no big deal. I lost some points because apparently I don't like look left when I'm turning right or look right when I'm turning left enough. She's like, I know you have the right of way, but that doesn't mean that the next guy's gonna stop. I'm like, okay, fine, whatever.
Fuck that guy.
If he hits me, it's his fault.
Yeah.
Right? It's my right of way.
Yeah, you don't want to
And
hit
just
this
said that.
bucket truck. Trust
yeah,
me.
bring it. But anyway, before I left for my driving test, right as that lady like got in my truck and we were getting ready to leave, there was a lady in front of me who was trying to pass for.
It's not that.
We're not laughing at the girl trying to get her driver's license. We're laughing at Robbie pulling up a picture of a
Like a
chauffeur.
stereotypical chauffeur of like a limo,
From,
but
like,
a really
England or something?
douchey looking one.
It's probably the start of like a porno.
Yeah, it's actually exactly what it looks like. Man, that dude is wow. That's a deal. Okay.
This is why I need to be on YouTube, because I post stupid shit like whenever we're talking about stuff like this.
So she's trying to get her, I assume, Class B to drive this school bus, right? And she only has to do 3 backing maneuvers.
Okay.
You have to back straight up into a parking spot. You have to back offset into a spot, and then you have to do a 90-degree back into a spot. And there's cones that they have set up, and you got to stop on a line, and you can't knock over cones and stuff like that. It's pretty simple in the grand scheme of things,
Yeah.
especially if you don't have a trailer. Things get a little more complicated with a trailer. I'll give you that if you aren't real good with backing up trailers or whatever.
That
But-
takes time.
But, like a bus, it's a really long vehicle, but there's no articulation point or anything.
Right.
So that lady had just started that before I was ready to go, and she's like, well, let's just wait for her to finish that real quick because it shouldn't take very long, and we'll do your backing up maneuver, then we'll go for the road drive. Turns out that it took her, you have 30 minutes to pass that, doing those 3 backup maneuvers, and she used like every last second of it.
Wow.
And so we're sitting there just kind of watching this whole thing unfold, and oh, Jesus Christ, Robbie.
Now, why is that guy making that face?
I found a better picture.
That's the face that somebody makes before they steal your skin to
Yeah,
wear it. Look
absolutely.
at that guy's face.
That's the face of every Uber driver I've ever seen.
No, that's not even true. But that is definitely the face of a dude that's a serial killer.
So this lady, she
all 30 minutes.
she had to make multiple attempts at each of those backing up maneuvers or whatever you want to
Was
call
she
them.
just doing it super slow and then not
She
quite
was doing
getting
it really slowly, and then like she wouldn't crank the wheel enough.
Ah.
And so each of the times that she made the attempts, she never hit a cone.
Okay.
And when she finally got the vehicle in where it needed to be, she made her stops at the correct places, and she did everything right. She just did it really, really poorly
And
in
slow.
the process because
Okay.
it took her a long time. And to me, she demonstrated a clear lack of ability to do those things effectively. And so I asked the lady, because we'd been sitting in there for a while, and we had been just kind of small talking back and forth, Robbie's favorite thing. And I said, so, you know, I know you're like sitting here and we're, you know, 250 feet away from her or whatever, but like, did she pass? And the lady's like, she's like, technically, you have 30 minutes to perform the maneuvers. She didn't hit any cones. When she finally actually got what she was doing, she was where she needed to be. I do not have the right to fail her, whether I agree with the fact that she should pass or not.
She passed the parameters of the test.
Right. So she said specifically, she passed what the minimum requirements of the law are. And I may not agree with her driving those vehicles, but that's the law, and I can't say she failed. And I was like, awesome, we're going to put children in her hands and send her out into the world. And she's like, yep.
Hey, at least she said that, though. She could have been like, she passed.
She was super upfront about it, you know, and I'm obviously going to leave names out.
And luckily,
to protect the innocent here.
She's not going to be doing a lot of backing up with the school bus.
No, but like, you know, and I don't know how her road drive went. You know, it could have gone great.
Yeah, I'm sure.
You know, but I think that based on that, she's demonstrated a clear lack of understanding of how to drive a vehicle that's as long as that is. And I'm not sure that, to me, she should have been failed and, you know, like, try again. But the thing is, like, where do you practice that?
Yeah, and then how do you put a time limit on it? That's like if it's either too short or too long, regardless of what you choose. Like if it's
right, like
12, if it's 12 minutes, you're like, oh, it's too short. But anybody should be able to do it in 12 minutes, or arbitrary numbers.
Right.
But then you put a half hour on it, and it's like, oh, that's too long. But
I think that speaks a lot to. Because we've talked about in the past, we talked about it with Alex, and we talked about it with a number of other times. We've talked about how this country has a huge lack of driving education. That's our biggest problem, right? From a driving standpoint, like that our accidents and our crash statistics and our fatalities and stuff like that are well worse than average, and a lot of that can be tied back to poor driver education. And right there, we have a lady that's literally her job, is to decide whether or not you are a safe driver. And in her opinion, that person is not a safe driver, but the minimum law she has exceeded. And so that lady does not have the power to say, no, you can't do this. And I'm just like, that's something that clearly needs revisited. It's terrifying.
Well, I think it needs revisited, you know, across the board.
Yeah,
obviously.
no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Like,
not just
I'm
that
not saying
test,
this.
all
Not
tests.
just CDL tests need revisited. Like, you know, yeah. Granted, she's applying for a higher than average level driver's license to drive a vehicle that an overwhelming majority of our general population would never even touch. Mm-hmm. But you know, it's a problem from top to bottom. So it's just.
Well, I remember at Iowa State, it was kind of surprising the number of people that were driving. Like, come drive for Cyride. It's easy.
Oh, it really is. I've heard that. Like, that there's the barrier of entry to drive for Cyride is super low.
Yes. Or clearly any bus.
That's the campus bus.
Yes,
Bus system.
Yeah, that's our
the Ames bus system.
semi-public transportation.
Yeah.
It's owned by the university.
And the students
can ride for free.
with
Residents are like $1.
It's like
It's
nothing.
like nothing.
Yeah.
They don't make money on it.
No, it's super convenient, though. It's one of the better bus systems I've ever seen.
Yeah, I would agree with that. From the outside.
Yeah.
I've only been on one, and that was your fault.
That's where his hatred for public transportation started.
People are gross.
In Cyride's defense, it was Visha week. I shouldn't hold it against them.
They can't control that. They took it away anyways.
Yeah, they did take it away.
But it's just the tests. I didn't have too much trouble with the test. I did zero studying. I ended up taking it twice.
Oh.
I literally you get it's a 50 question test.
Yeah.
You can miss 10.
Okay.
And I was at the point where I had 39 right And my next question, whether I got it wrong or right, I was going to pass or fail, right? Like that's where I was on it. And I was just like, some of them are, to me, there's more than one correct answer. Now I understand there's a more correct answer.
I hate that about those tests.
And if I'd have ever even opened the book and read it, I probably would have known the more correct answer.
Yes.
But like, so there's one like, if you get stuck on a railroad crossing, what do you do? Or what's the very first thing you should do? And there's 3 options. I don't remember what the third one was.
Run, bitch!
Get some help.
The first one is get out of the vehicle and call for emergency response.
Okay.
And then the next one is try backing up. Now, what are you going to do?
I'm gonna back up.
You're gonna
first.
try.
Right, but that's wrong.
Yeah, I know it is.
But that's what I'm going to do.
Disagree.
You're gonna at least see if there's a way to get out of this situation.
Like I might get out, but I'm not going to call for help.
Like,
I'm
unless-
going to get out and look at it and be like, dude, I can back this up.
Unless I'm
good.
looking and seeing the train like coming closer.
Yeah, I'm
gonna
backing up.
try.
Right. Right.
I'm
If
for
there's
sure backing
if there's no train in sight,
Yeah, I'm gonna try.
I'm going to get off that track before I call it.
See, they needed more words in their question.
Well, and then there was one that was when snow is present, by what percentage should you slow your speed?
How much snow?
Well, that's too.
How slick is
it's
this
too
snow?
arbitrary of a question. Like, are we talking?
What tires do I have?
Are we talking like it's 3 degrees outside and there was a light dusting and
The roads are
the
fine.
roads are so cold that it's not sticking and so it's basically dry pavement? Or is it 28 degrees and I got 8 inches of snow and it's a total fucking whiteout and I can't see 10 feet in front of my car? Because those are 2 drastically different scenarios in which snow is present.
Yeah, we need quantities.
So that's a bad question,
It is a bad question.
but that's what you get.
It's misleading.
So it's hard to pass it without studying on your first try.
Yes. It's all about the wording.
Right.
I will agree with that.
So
Fair enough.
I just,
Point made.
it's
Right?
scary.
Yeah.
There's definitely something that needs to be looked at. And I understand, like, oh, in order to overhaul that would be very expensive. And, like, maybe it should be.
Maybe it's worth it.
Maybe it should be.
Well, I think now they're probably just holding out until you don't get to drive your car on the street anymore. So they're probably not going to do anything
It's a
about it.
terrifying reality that I don't believe we won't see before we die.
You know
Absolutely.
how long I'm going to live.
That's fair. You're not wrong.
You can't prove that I'll live to see that.
Let's assume you're going to live an average lifespan.
I refuse to be an average life.
To my earlier point,
He's either going to outlive us all or he's going to die tomorrow.
to my earlier point, it's all downhill from here.
I'm above average.
It
Does
doesn't
that mean
get.
you're going to die earlier or later?
Yes.
I don't-
Robbie,
dude,
look
I
at it
don't
this
want to
way.
live longer than average.
No, you don't.
Look at it this way. This moment right now, which is now this
That's as
moment,
good as
which
it
is
gets.
this,
Yes,
this is
an earlier moment.
as good as it
this
gets.
is as good as it gets.
It's not going to get better from here.
That's what I'm saying. Like, this is as good as it gets, and then
I
just like tomorrow's not as good as today. Like,
I
you know
hope
what I'm
we
saying?
don't have like a 19-year-old kid who like this is his first episode. He's like 1010's podcast.
This
Like,
sounds fun. They seem
got a
seem
lot of good reviews.
Positive.
Look at all those fun reviews. The Top Gear of podcasting. That sounds great.
Those guys aren't positive. Have
Like
you
how-
listened to them talk?
It gets worse.
No.
Life gets worse.
Does Jeremy Clarkson have a positive outlook on life?
No, probably not.
They punched that guy in the face.
Yeah.
He deserved it.
I'm sure he did.
Probably.
All right, you just want to do one more thing before the news?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah,
Robbie
we-
has a piece of paper.
We got to talk about. Oh, I actually have a thing I want to talk about specifically about with this. So,
Last Tuesday.
Tuesday, last week Tuesday, we went to our local kart track
There, you want this one.
as like a group. Us and
An outing with our friends.
what were there, like 8 or 9 of us, 10 of us.
there was like 10 people there. when I showed up.
like 10
Yeah,
people.
which is awesome.
It was great.
Yeah, there's 8 people that raced, so like 10 people were there because some people didn't race.
Yeah, I only was able to do one of the 2 events that you guys did because I'm not working enough hours to do more than that right now.
And I was working too many hours, so I was not there.
So we didn't do any other races.
I showed up and left.
I forgot that I had to sign in, and then I gave the wrong name, so I had to sign in for the new name.
Yeah,
my
so
pro skills gone.
the life of Robbie Vierhout here. He's gone by Robbie. He's gone by Rob. He's gone by Robert. And depending on what phase in his life he had signed up for things, he forgets which name he was using.
Which phases are what though? That's what I want to know.
That's a deeper question. We don't have time to get into
we got
on
this.
Oh, okay.
When I was young and happy, it was Robbie. As I was kind of getting when I was getting less
26 to 28, when things were starting to set in, but they really weren't there yet.
Rob. And now that life is kind of
shit all over you, it's Robert.
Mr.
Vierhout will be when it's just over.
32 will be Mr. Vierhout.
Oh God, I turned 32 in 5 months.
Yeah, but your outlook's not as negative as his is.
I'm positive that it's negative.
Wow. So, I don't know. I know that I've been to this go-kart track since Logan was born.
It's been at least 3 years for me.
But I think I've only gone once in the time that Logan has been born.
I think we tried that one time.
And there was probably...
And it was a 2.5 hour wait, and then we went bowling instead.
Yeah, but...
That was the last time I tried.
That was pre-Logan.
Yes.
So, it's been a while for any of us who have gone to that. And then, on top of that, it's been almost an equivalently long time since I've actually driven like any fun car in a competitive environment. So I'd kind of forgotten how much I like racing. And to be completely honest with you, like this is going to get a little dark and depressing.
Wow, like the rest of the show.
After Super Lap Battle, like I really enjoyed my time there, and I've really enjoyed going to all of these events. All the different grid lives and Champ Car and now Super Lap and all these different events that we get to go to, not only through the podcast, but just with my friends and whatnot. I haven't been doing any of the driving.
Right.
And as I've been thinking after Super Lap, I've kind of been like, do I even miss it? Do I just like cars? Do I even really care about racing?
Right.
Is kind of where I was like questioning,
This guy's questioning his whole existence.
Yeah, I really was. Because
this is a legitimate question.
30,
like there's
32.
days when I was like all joking.
I love cars.
Yeah.
And they're always going to be a part of my life. But there's a lot of car enthusiasts out there who love cars but don't
never even drive really.
But don't do what we think is almost a necessity to be the car guy that we want to be. And I was really like starting to question whether I really even cared about the fact that I wasn't doing any racing.
No joke, at the end of the season last year, I was at that point.
Yeah.
Like, why do I fucking do this?
Right.
Every November, I go real deep into not doing car stuff.
I look back at how much I spent, how many hours I scrambled to get back on track, and then it's like, was that really worth it? And then I need that. I legitimately need an off season to come back
like
to
mine's
it.
not even because it's been basically 2 years since I've driven, in a competitive format of any sort.
Okay.
And so it's not even like, oh, like Jesus Christ, what the hell am I doing spending all this money? But it was me looking at like, I'm enjoying my time with cars now.
Yep.
Just as much as I was when I was doing 20 autocross events a year. Like, do I really need racing to enjoy cars and friends and, that world? And because it seems like everybody I know who spends a lot of time on track is constantly fighting things and frustrated stuff. I'm just like, I'm not sure that I want that.
Yeah.
It's got to be fun.
Because my life is such a shit show outside of that.
There's a lot of
time and stuff like that.
I mean, since we're here, whatever.
Yeah.
There's times when
this is what I want.
When I think about all this, I got the Fiat, which I do love that car, and then I've got the RX-7, which I don't know if I'd love that car. I mean, there's times I've had great times in it, but I don't know if I've bonded with it like that. And there's times when I go, what if I really did just buy a 911? And like that's it.
Right.
Like I don't have to track it.
You just got it.
I've got it. Like I can have my car obsession experience with this. I can, buy some cool wheels for it. I could put some, nice suspension on it. I could do this and that. Maybe I take it on a couple track days a year, HPDE.
Yeah.
And it's like, but I also don't have to do anything at all. Like it's just there. I could take it for a drive.
Drive it to
I
work
can
on
experience
Tuesday
it.
morning if I feel like it.
I go, man, that sounds way better. Like it doesn't sound like the money pit that racing is, which is just like, oh, I got it. Like I was thinking the other day, like, okay, so the the blocks back, all that stuff. Then we sent the heads in, and he's like, well, I kind of want to change the valves, and I don't really like the valve springs that you have. I don't think that they're stiff enough. And so it's like, okay, we're buying valves and valve springs, and paying him to do that. And then I'm like, fuck, I got to buy tires, which aren't that expensive for drifting, but I got to do that. And I'm like, oh, God, I need at least 2 more wheels. And it's like, is it fucking worth it? Is any of it worth it?
Like,
I don't know.
Like, so my alarm goes off at, 4:15 every morning, Monday through Friday.
Yep.
And then Saturday comes around, and I got to be in Oskaloosa at 7:30. So guess what? My alarm's going off at 4:15. Like, this is dumb,
It's the same. Yeah. And yes. And
But,
I can throw money at other things and get the money back. When you throw money at racing, it's gone.
To me, it's not. I don't even consider the monetary side of it. I don't care about that.
Yep.
Because number one, I don't have any to begin with, so it doesn't fucking matter. But number two, like, I enjoy it when I do it, and I get my money's worth out of the enjoyment of it.
Yeah.
But what I was questioning was, did I even, like, do I mentally need it to be the car guy I want to be? And then we went karting.
You do.
And I was 3/4 of the way through the first warm-up lap after they had given me full power, and I'm like, this is fucking great. This is worth it.
I miss this.
I need this in my life again. I can't not have it. It's too good.
Yep. You need the
And then,
fun days.
like, I'm driving by people and, like, learning this track. We've never been there before, and I know they've made quite a few updates to the kart since the last time I've been there. And so everything's different. The track's all new. I'm relearning that. And get off of there, and we grab these little slips they have, and I'm 0.2 of a second faster than second place. I'm like, fucking A, man. I can't not do this. And now all I can think about is how I'm going to do it this summer.
Yep.
That's all I care about right now.
Yeah, I think you need that to step away when you get burned out, so that it is fun when you are doing it. Because I think if you always look at it like, I have to be at every event, I have to be doing this well, I have to be doing this, I have to be beating this guy, and when it becomes about winning or becomes about always doing it, or that you can't step away,
Yeah.
you stop looking at the fun side of it and you get burned out, which is exactly what October usually is for me, because it's been a long season, it's been a long summer. I need a break, and I didn't get that break during the year, but that's why we live in Iowa and we have a break for snow months.
So I'm not a very competitive person. Like the thing I compete with most is myself. Like, yeah, I want to go there and beat Michael and Robbie, but that's because I want to make fun of Michael and Robbie for being slower than me. It's not because I need to beat you guys. It's because
You want to make a joke.
it's part of
Must be a dick about it.
It's what
It's
this
part
whole
of-
podcast has been about, is about making jokes.
But like, to me, growing up racing, my dad was never good at drag racing. He'll flat out admit that. Like,
just loves
now at where he's at in his life, drag racing is more about, he's trying to find a car that he'll enjoy drag racing. He doesn't care about being the fastest guy there and winning his class.
Right.
That's why he has that silly fuel altered
Yeah.
thing, because it's like on paper it's a terrible drag car, but it's fun and he loves it, and that's what needs to matter to him right now. And when I was growing up, racing wasn't about going to the racetrack and coming home with first place trophy. It was about going to the racetrack and hanging out with all of our closest friends who are basically our family,
Right.
And like, that's what I want for my kid as he grows up. And so to me, racing was never about being the fastest guy. It's not about being competitive. And so I don't get burned out on that. It's always been about the social aspect for it, for me,
For sure.
which is different than a lot of people go to it for. And that's why I take it a lot more lightheartedly than some people. But I don't know. Now I really want to get back out there and do it again.
That's good. I think we have
Then I went and spent-
70,000 listeners that are right behind you going, yeah, we
I'm
want
sure
you out
there's a
there.
ton of people who have like gone through a roller coaster of emotions in the 15 minutes.
They're
we've
in the
been
last
talking
15
about
minutes.
this.
It's not like we all quit.
Yeah.
We're done
Well,
with
because
this.
they're on that ride too.
Oh, yeah.
you know?
But I think-
we all go through those emotions, I think.
I think that people don't admit that to themselves a lot of
I
the
know,
time.
and that's kind of why I wanted to talk about
you don't
it.
have to do any of this. Like, you don't have to do shit.
no.
Don't
Just
think for
walk
1 second you have to finish your car. You have to go to this event. You have to do bullshit. You don't have to do a fucking thing.
Enjoy
and
it.
You can just go without your car and hang out with your friends too. Like,
I've said before.
Don't forget that.
I've said before, it's almost more fun to go to those events without your car.
Yeah, because you don't have a fucking problem
because
the car's broken.
Oh, Robbie, you're out there all stressed out because the track's wet and the people are crazy. Like Michael and I are up here just hanging out, and having a good time.
I'm doing Instagram stories and messing around,
making fun of Robbie on track,
putting stickers on the Rad V.
Yeah.
That's right.
Robbie's all stressed out.
I am stressed.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I think people need sometimes. I mean, 2 years was probably way too long, but I think Robbie's right. We need people need an off.
Need an off.
You need a time to step away.
Like
it's a balance.
Even Formula One takes a summer break. Can you
Right.
imagine if they went all the way through it? People would just fucking hate it. They'd be more.
They probably
grumpy.
do
I'm sure they do.
already.
Well, they already complained that the season's too long, which I wouldn't disagree.
Well,
It's freaking huge.
Have you watched any of the Grand Tour this year?
Yeah.
Oh, religiously, yes.
Everyone.
So the Jim Clark episode or the Jim Clark
Yeah.
documentary?
Oh, so good.
Yeah, so
A maniac.
One of the things, yeah, he was a maniac,
He never
an
stopped
insane
racing.
human being. He's somebody who I know the name, but I didn't realize
Was that
the
prolific?
level he was
Yeah.
at. But Hammond had said at that time there were 10 races on the Formula One calendar, and now there's like
20,
it's 20 to 30.
That's so
I think it's
many.
low 20s. I think
I wanna say-
think-
yeah, I'd say it's
think
like 21 or
I want to say
22.
it's 21. Yeah, but like there's only 52 weeks in a year.
Yeah.
You know, that's nearly half of
yeah.
the weekends that exist. You're on a racetrack,
And the cost. I mean, my God.
And,
right? And it's
in-
not
it's
even
in a-
that. It's,
It's
just
like in a
I'm
different.
talking about for the driver themselves. That level of stress that must put on a human being has got to be
Right,
intense.
because they're in a different part of the world every couple of weeks, but they're there the whole time. So they're practicing and testing the whole 2 weeks they're there. They do the race, then they fly to the next place and do it all over again.
Well, and they like last season they had a couple of double headers and I think even a triple header where they had 2 and even 3 weekends in a row that had races, and they'd be like in Dubai and then Australia and then Canada or some
I
crazy
know
shit
they
like
did.
that. You know, it's just like, are you fucking kidding? No wonder these people burn out.
Yeah, didn't they do Mexico, Canada, and the United States like all in a row or something?
I can't.
That would make too much sense.
Yeah, I think they did that, or at least the Mexico and the United States one.
I
Was
think they were
right in a row.
somewhat reasonably geographic. I'm sure they weren't like bounced from one side of the earth to the other. They were somewhat
No.
reasonably geographically related, but either way, it's still an insane schedule,
Yes.
and I'm sure they burn out on it. So, I don't know.
One
That
thi- one-
really we tailed off of the go karting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
One-
wanted to talk about that because I felt that it was.
Real quick, Robbie, before you make your point, thank you to Allison.
For the pictures.
Uh,
Yeah, for
this is actually
taking
my
these-
picture.
That is.
So
She-
here,
she
hold on.
took
We'll get
some-
one of her pictures.
She took some pictures for us, and we appreciate
There's a picture, Bill.
her doing that.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I wanted to point out that I got second place in the race that Adam wasn't at, and Thomas's.
Oh, yeah.
Thomas's doesn't count, so I got first
Yeah, Thomas is a cheater,
because he used to work there and
Yeah.
he had special points.
dude.
so
like
that's bullshit.
so he's out. Because I sat out the race that Thomas raced.
Yeah, Thomas showed up late.
Everybody
He got
loves
one
and
race.
knows and loves Thomas Reed. We've had him on the show.
He's a cheater.
Yeah. So he pulls out and he's just waving like Thomas, you know, like
Hey, Tom!
stupid enthusiastically waving, but not at me.
No,
he
at
was
the
waving
coworkers.
at the manager who was on duty there that night, and he's like, Thomas, just like screaming at him, and I was like,
Of course he's gonna win.
and then he comes off and he's a 10th of a second faster than my time in the previous race and the fastest guy overall. And what is he, like third fastest of the week?
fifth of the week.
Fifth fastest of the week? Cheater.
Yep.
They got the controls.
So the
His was
carts
like the
there are
extra bonus.
the
6%
carts
or
there are
something.
electric and they can be fully controlled by the guy in pit lane.
Yep.
You know they can push. The whole field can be sped up or slowed down, or you can be sped up and slowed down individually.
Yes.
So Thomas cheated.
Yeah, he was at level 4.5,
We all decided
but we were all
yeah,
at 4.
for sure.
that or he got the good cart.
Right.
He got.
I had the
fed
same
good
cart twice, and that really annoyed me because I'd let go of the steering wheel, and we're going to the right. And then I was
Robbie kept saying like, no, just sliding around every corner, just like got too much drift boy in me now.
the temptation for me to drift in a go-kart is so high, I can't take it seriously to race.
and those have so much torque that it's too easy.
Yes. And then Bill is in front of me, and I'm like riding his tail, just playing around. Just
Right.
I don't take it seriously. So
Right.
then he fucking gives me a point buy.
No one gives point
He's
buys.
"Here,
I
no,
was so mad
I want to
about
follow his
that.
line because I'm right on his tail. That's because I'm just driving like a jackass, following him like as close as I can because I'm fucking around. It's go-karts. I never take it seriously.
Diving him into corners and
Yes.
shit.
So then he points me by. He's like, I want to see what he's doing. And he legitimately goes, he has no idea what he's doing. No! The fact that I got second place is really weird to me because there's no reason for it.
The other thing I want to talk about, so they do this thing called a pro skill. And so you start out, if you've never been there before, you get 1,200 pro skill points. And points are added or subtracted based on how well you do in your race. But the amount of points that are added or subtracted are based on the pro skills of the people around you.
Yes.
So, like, since Robbie was technically, air quotes, never there because he had to make a new account because he forgot that was the Rob phase of his life
Yep.
and he was looking for Robert.
Yep.
He started out with 1,200. Had I have lost to him, I would have lost a boatload of points. Turns out, despite the fact having basically not been there in 3 years, I'm 130th out of 155,238 people.
Wow.
My pro skill,
We did go there a lot.
yeah. So I want to say that was like my 80-something visit. Or no,
It doesn't say on
this
there.
is Robbie's.
Oh, yeah. It was something insane.
No, it was like my 40-something visit and my 86th race or
Race,
something
yeah.
like that.
Oh, yeah. First visit, second race.
Yeah, I was like, Jesus
Gosh, now I got to remember.
Christ,
Next
Adam.
time I go back, I got to remember.
Well, pre-podcast,
we used to go once a
this
week.
is what we did
That's
on
what,
Wednesdays.
that's what we did, yeah.
You know, all winter and through some of the summer.
Yep.
That's what we did. There were a group of 8 to 12 of us, and we had a Facebook group just like we do now. And I mean, that was how we, air quotes, stayed limber
Yep.
through the winter.
I would just drift around corners, not taking it seriously, and then people think that I'm serious. So don't do that. The temptation's too high.
Yeah.
Cool, is that it?
Now I want to go racing.
Yeah. We want you to go.
Why
race.
is there 9 foot of snow everywhere I go? I can't race. Well, I can race in that, but I won't race in that.
I saw a meme this week that said that whatever the hell cities wanted all of our ice shacks to be out of the lake
Oh,
by
yeah.
July 3rd for the fireworks.
So that we don't have to worry about starting ice shacks on fire.
Yeah, not live where that is at all.
No, that was here.
No,
it was here.
Oh.
That was the joke. It was
Oh,
here.
I see.
That's the
Yes, I'm
joke.
with you now. I'm with you.
Sorry, I should have.
No, I
Use my
It's
words.
going to be
wasn't paying
negative
attention.
30 on Monday. Wind chill. Again.
God dang it.
I don't know what to do with that.
Well, at least we're
information.
not in Europe.
Wait.
The Swiss Alps.
But yeah,
I thought he had a picture of the. Oh, he was doing a segue. Son of a bitch. I'm sorry. Do it again.
but at least we're not in fucking Europe.
Thanks for bringing that up, Robbie. This week's news: all new cars are to be fitted with the GPS speed limiter in Europe.
We're so fucking professional.
The second time,
Details. We
take two.
We could edit that out.
Don't do it.
People on TV and movies get like 47
1,000
takes,
takes.
and they're bitching about stuff, and they got a craft service table, and somebody's bringing them
Yeah.
assistants.
lattes.
Michael
and
doesn't
shit.
even offer us water.
I could drink this one.
I got to bring
it's
my own.
LaCroix. That one's empty now.
Oh,
But anyway, my point is, we do all this in one take.
yeah, we don't care.
Nobody gives a shit.
I'm looking at that going, the lights
calling-
aren't working.
Nobody's calling me saying, "Hey, do you want to host Formula Drift this year? Do you want to announce F1?" Don't get shit from anybody. Not a damn thing.
Free podcast.
I may have to get one of those Saget card things or whatever
I
that's
think
called.
that might be the problem, though, Robbie.
What?
It's free.
That we're doing it for
So
free.
clearly it has no value.
Oh.
It's not professional.
Trust me, I know that that's a problem.
If we would have charged for this from the get-go,
Right out of the gate.
yeah, if we would have just been on Patreon only,
The first thing we should have done was the most expensive automotive podcast.
No, you
would be-
gotta label it as a premium brand podcast. It's a black label Angus podcast or something like that.
That's awesome.
It's a free range podcast. Be like, oh yeah,
Yeah, that's it.
I'm supporting the artists, you know. Makes me feel good.
Struggling race car.
Self-righteous.
Yeah.
Listen to a lot of NPR. Those people.
GPS is in Europe.
Ah, yeah, the European Safety Council, European Transport Safety Council. Don't call me about that, though. I will not be on that.
Yeah, leave me off of that.
Leave me
That's
off.
not
Leave
safety
me
We're
off
council.
not
that,
your
Ross.
target market.
They've been pushing to basically put GPS speed limiters in your car, and that's the
Yeah.
story. And it sounds like that's going to be a thing.
What year was it?
20 to be
23, right?
Yeah, 2023 or 2022, depending
Something
on
like
how
that.
they define 3 years.
So, are these just GPS controlled governors, or
Yeah.
are these like GPS controlled? I'm getting a ticket in the mail.
No, I think they're speed limiters.
Speed limiters.
I don't think it has anything
It's
to
not
do.
a money grab.
That's,
well, it will be.
That's coming. Yes, it
Okay.
absolutely is coming.
Actually,
I'm less against it if it's like
And it
kind
sounds
of a
my
governor
car won't go more than 55 miles an hour
in a
this-
35 or
No, in this 55 mile. Dude, you don't think it's going to be spot on? You're wrong.
Sammy
It's
Hagar.
going to be 55.
Sammy
you
Hagar is
gotta-
going to hate this.
It's going to be 55 and a 55. It's not going to be 60 and a 55, Robbie.
I will pay any amount of money
Well,
it takes to put this in Sammy Hagar's car.
He can't go 55. He can't drive.
Literally any amount of money because I hate him that much.
Problem is that Sammy Hagar has more money than you. He could pay someone to take it back out.
Don't tell him.
Yeah, just like what?
Just the inconvenience Sammy Hagar for a small period of time would be worth it. For
I also want a camera with a mic so I can. Why can I only go 55?
YouTube. That might be my life goal now is to slightly inconvenience Sammy Hagar.
That'd be perfect.
We had an opportunity to slightly inconvenience Richard Rollins, and we weren't.
We didn't
We
know.
didn't well,
Just
yeah,
too
we didn't
late.
have enough time.
I had an opportunity to slightly
He was within an
inconvenience-
hour of us.
I was a little busy.
I was at a casino and he was at a casino. It was just the wrong casino.
Damn it.
I was so pissed when I saw that. I was at Riverside and he was
at the
The or the Wild Rose.
Wild
Yeah,
Rose. I was going to say
Jefferson.
Wild Cherry, but I know that wasn't right. That's
at
not
a
a movie.
casino. It's just the wrong one. I also had a chance to slightly inconvenience Adam Carolla. That didn't happen either.
Yeah,
Learned
'cause
about
he
that
was-
too late.
Yeah, he was going to be at press day for the Chicago Auto Show, the one year that Michael doesn't go.
Of course.
Yeah, they did all kinds of cool shit this year. I didn't go, so
It looked
lesson
like it.
learned, I guess.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. Because I was like, it's the last 2 years. It's been basically the same. So I was like, I don't know. I really need to do that. Wait a year and then come back, do it again,
that's
and
what you get.
be some new stuff.
Next
And
year, it's not going to be
Adam
cool.
Carolla. No, it's probably gonna suck next year. Oh well. So what I understand about this is that it beeps at you.
And you can override it and basically keep going, and it just keeps telling you no, and you're like yes, 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 yes.
My assumption is that at that point, you'll get a ticket in the mail.
That's kind of what I was going for. Like if it'll let you get yourself out of trouble, but then once you keep going and get yourself into trouble, you get a ticket in the mail.
The government doesn't need to know any more information about me. How about that?
They know enough.
I mean,
They're
technically,
listening right
you would
now.
be an anonymous driver of a car.
No, because they
No,
got
'cause
your
it's
address.
registered. I mean,
yeah.
well, assuming they're not issuing tickets off of it.
Oh, okay.
How about that?
Okay.
Which I think is not even a possibility.
No, it's gonna happen.
That's exactly where this is headed. 100%,
Listen,
you're controlled down to the mile an hour.
yeah, isn't Paris the one that has literally a camera on every corner?
London's like that.
London.
Yeah, London is like that. I don't know what I mean. What do you?
Apparently, China does.
Oh yeah, yes.
If you watch the Grand
Definitely.
Tour, holy
Oh, yeah.
shit, that was
Yeah.
out of control.
You know?
Apparently, people pleasuring themselves while they're driving down the road's a real problem in that country.
Yeah, great. I guess I don't.
We've
I
all
don't
been there, right?
No, but
sure.
we could.
I don't know.
Solidarity
That
on
wasn't a
this.
relatable.
Solidarity.
That wasn't a relatable point. Oh, solidarity. Yes, he's right.
Yeah, all of us. Yeah, definitely, all the time.
Stick together. Don't let him fail. Don't let him fall on his face.
One team. Yeah, I don't really know what to say.
Why did you do that? That was weird.
Because it's funny.
What a creep.
I'm not saying
It
I
was
am,
weird.
man. It was supposed to be a
Yeah,
joke.
you
Come on,
said
people.
that.
No, it's
Yeah,
supposed to be a
it's
joke.
okay,
Don't you have
See,
to,
this is
if you get caught doing that, you have to file as a sex criminal
Yeah,
the
I'm
rest
sure
of your
that you-
life. You're an offender. You're
That's
an offender the rest of
probably
your life.
true. Yeah.
Sex criminal, isn't that what Michael Jackson was
Yes.
singing about?
Michael Jackson.
Yeah, Smooth Criminal, the original one.
Oh, is that what that's about?
No, I just he said sex criminal. It sounded that's what it
Sound like
reminded me of, and then it reminded me of that
Sex
pedophile
criminal.
video game that I played.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
You got to save the children using dancing. That
Oh boy. That's an inappropriate video game for sure.
it's a legit though. Apparently,
know it
it's,
is. It's just
nobody was like
Saving
man,
the children is a noble cause,
Why was
Robbie.
it-
You're just taking it the
there
wrong way.
should have been one person in his. Surely Michael Jackson had like a cabinet of people
Yes.
that, and like, hey man, like nah,
Maybe
let's
don't
let's
put your
not
name
do
on
this. This is a bad idea, or maybe not save children.
Save
It's
something else.
Super creepy.
Let's just save people. How about we just save
you know, how about
women, children, men, the whole gamut?
How about everybody?
Let's just save
if it's everybody,
groups of people.
If it's everybody, it's fine. If you're just
maybe cats and dogs. How about
you're just saving
people
the children?
love animals?
Yep.
Yes. That was weird.
That
was a weird segue.
It's fine.
Or not a segue, just a weird segment. I think that's it. That sucks. That's great.
Yeah, I think
It'll turn into a money grab.
I think it will be way more of a fight in the United States than it has or will be in Europe. But I also think that we'll still lose that fight.
Yes, I think that's...
Well, I think at some point it won't matter anyway because you won't drive your own car.
That's also
it's all downhill from here, Robbie. Yep. Or Robert.
Whatever.
Mr. Vierhout.
Mr. Vierhout.
It's all downhill from here, Mr. Vierhout.
wow.
Hold on, I gotta write that down because that's definitely the title of this show.
I don't disagree with that at all.
Oh, that's amazing.
Speaking of all downhill from here,
Mercedes EQC deliveries
It's the worst name of any
are
vehicle
3
ever.
months behind due to the battery production issues.
all right, I'm not just gonna say like this is not gonna be a Mercedes only problem. This is gonna be all manufacturers.
This is exactly why I put this on here.
Everyone will struggle with this. Even Tesla is gonna struggle with this.
Absolutely.
Obtaining enough lithium to supply the needs that we think we need for electric
Not a
cars is
realistic
not
thing.
possible. Do you know what it takes to make lithium?
Yeah. Well, but
a fucking brine field. So you're going to the most water-starved countries in the world where people don't even have enough water to survive. And what you're going to do is you're going to take a field and then you're just going to put a bunch of salt water. You're going to take just fresh water and put it full of salt and just put it in the brine fields and let it dry the fuck out. And that's how you get your lithium. So
Yeah.
people are dying.
third world countries,
Yes.
like
Dude, when have we not sacrificed third world people for our own convenience?
It's the American way, goddammit.
Western
That's pretty-
civilization in a nutshell.
It's
isn't
pretty.
It?
That's pretty dark, but let's be real.
Let's be real.
I mean, clothing,
Yep.
consume electronics,
Christopher
consumables, all this
Columbus literally took blankets with smallpox on them.
I was gonna say
and
diseases.
gifted them to the Indians
By accident.
and killed them.
I mean, it wasn't on purpose.
it was on purpose.
Okay, fine.
Christopher Columbus was a dick.
He's a
No, I
piece
knew
of
he
shit.
was a real
And we should
piece
not
of dick.
celebrate him. I'll say it.
I don't disagree with that. There's,
He didn't
there's a
discover
lot
shit.
No. The Vikings were here first.
How about the Native Americans?
Well, yeah, that too. Western culture is king, Robbie.
So Mercedes thinks that they're going to be in trouble, which they are.
I think
That's
no.
a delay,
I
but-
think that this story is indicative of the climate that we live in for automotive reporting, which is that this story is stupid and it doesn't matter.
Really
and
not a story.
It's not a story
No.
about even Mercedes. It's just a fact that lithium batteries are hard to produce, and Audi, their e-tron crossover, which I didn't even know was a thing, is going to be coming out after this, which I didn't even know this was a thing.
No, this is new to me.
There's too many damn cars, and I can't keep any of them straight. I didn't know that
that's
this
what
was coming.
Mercedes needed was more cars.
Yeah, thank God. They couldn't have put an electric drivetrain in the S-Class. That would have been stupid. Let's build this thing.
They give a terrible name to it.
Yeah, what are you driving these days? An EQC.
I know exactly what that is.
Well, I think it's
That's
funny
that
is-
online. That's that TV shopping network. That's what that is. No, it's a Mercedes.
It's 3 letters, and you stumbled over just saying them.
EQC.
That's how
It's hard to
stupid it
say.
is. That's
It's
how
weird.
stupid it is.
It's weirdly hard to say,
Yeah, it is.
EQC.
I don't disagree with that.
Like even just the EQ would be fine.
Yeah, but Q and C, I don't know why they don't go together.
No.
EQ is fine
Yeah.
because we've been saying that forever,
QC
and
QC is
QC
quality
is
control.
fine, but EQC
is weird.
for some reason it doesn't roll off the tongue.
No.
So anyway, if you want one of these, it's 3 months delayed. You'll get it late 2020.
So sorry to all our listeners that are going to buy these.
Yeah, all none of you.
Did you see this e-tron crossover?
I didn't know there was an e-tron crossover.
Me neither. But there is one, and it's
we're
coming.
gonna talk about a crossover next week because it's already on my list.
Well, here's the thing about this e-tron crossover. Remember we had the whole discussion about crossover wagon,
Yep.
blah, 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 blah. They're
Yep.
just lying about the fact that that's not a wagon.
That's a motherfucking
That's
wagon.
a wagon, bro.
It's for sure a wagon.
It is a wagon.
Even Robbie thinks that's a wagon.
Now they're
Robbie's
just-
pro crossover SUV.
Let's not go that far.
Now they're just lying.
We call it whatever we want. It's a shooting break. I don't care.
Nah, dude, it's got too many
It's
doors.
way more of them if it was a shooting.
It's got too many doors. It's a crossover. I mean, a station wagon.
They definitely had like a marketing convention, and they're like, the wagon has a really poor perception throughout the market, especially with people ages 19 to 87. So what we need to do is position ourselves in the market in the small crossover segment, because this is the, and they had graphs and stuff, and there's, okay, so we made a wagon and we called it a crossover. That's what happened.
Today, I don't know what it was. It was a Dodge product, right?
Okay.
I want to say maybe it was like a Citadel or a Journey.
I have no idea.
Okay, anyway, yeah.
But it looked, I thought it was a Dodge Caravan at first, and then I realized it wasn't because it didn't have sliding doors on the side. It had
It's
four
the
regular.
Journey. It's the Journey.
Dude, that's a minivan.
That's
No,
the
that's
Durango
the Citadel.
That's the Citadel.
Such a stupid name. The Citadel.
Yeah.
What was it called?
Dodge Journey.
Journey.
I don't know if like there's
That's a
multiple
minivan.
generations of it, but driving down the road in a Dodge Caravan, I thought it was a Dodge Caravan.
It doesn't.
Brothers!
Yeah.
No, not
No,
true.
dude.
That's,
The only thing that makes that not a minivan
is that the doors slope
is that
normal.
it doesn't have a sliding rear door. Because that is a minivan silhouette if I've ever seen
It's a
one.
minivan in it's an SUV camouflaged as a minivan, or vice.
No, it's the other way around. It's a minivan camouflaged as an SUV.
Yes.
A crossover SUV. But that is sold to the guy who is not willing to accept the fact that he drives a minivan, and some sick, twisted logic in his head tells him that a fucking crossover is a cooler car.
This is big. This is a full SUV though. It's big.
No, it's not,
No,
dude. It's
it's not that big?
exactly the same size as my van.
Yeah, he's right. It's the same size.
Really?
Yeah.
It looks bigger in this.
It does look kind of like a big picture,
Okay.
or like a big vehicle in that picture, but it is.
because to me it looks like a Suburban.
It is
No.
No, it's
I guess I've never seen one.
exactly the same size as
Probably
my
have you
van.
thought it was Grand Caravan.
Yeah,
probably did.
You
I
probably
did.
drive by one every day.
I probably
There's
did.
probably 6 of them in the parking lot at work, and you just think they're caravans because you've never looked close enough to realize that's not a sliding door on the back.
You're right. I haven't.
But that sort of thing makes me mad.
That's weird.
I don't know why, but it just boils my blood. I was pissed on my way to work.
You
this
know what really
morning.
grinds my gears?
Yeah,
It's because you're over 28.
because that guy, because it was a male driving it.
Yeah, I'd imagine.
Of course it was.
He logicked that out in his head that it's not a minivan, so I can
It's good.
drive it.
It's good.
You know, his wife wanted the minivan, and he was like, "I'm not driving a van.
What?
Not doing it." And so they bought that dumb thing that is inherently worse to load kids in and out of, because
Oh,
sliding
definitely.
doors are the greatest thing in the world.
They are much more convenient.
They're
than-
so good.
What engine does this have? Is it V8?
It doesn't matter.
No, dude, it's got some little 3-point-something liter V6.
Yes. You lied
It's
to me.
front wheel
It's-
drive.
you
It's
lied to me.
transverse. Hell, it's probably built on the Dodge Caravan chassis.
I bet the
Don't lie to
2.4
me.
liter is an option, or is the base engine
And a
for that.
V6 is the
It is
grand.
a 5-door. Oh wait, no, it is a mid-size crossover.
Yeah, dude.
It
they're
has
small.
It has the 2-liter TDI engine diesel, the 2.4
Not
liter,
anymore.
the 3.5 liter V6,
Told you.
3.6 liter, and the Pentastar.
What are you looking
I
at?
don't know Wikipedia. So it's got a bunch of engines.
I think that's like a second gen of the Journey, and the first one was more Jeepish. I swear the first one was more crossover than that.
The
is.
Journey shares a mod.
3.6, not 6 liter.
What the hell?
3.6.
Hold on. The Journey shares a modified platform with the Dodge Avenger and an identical wheelbase to the outgoing short wheelbase Chrysler minivan,
Boom.
So it's built on a car,
based on a minivan.
but it's the same size as a minivan.
like that's because like
It's
So the-
shorter than the Pacifica.
the Caravan was the old school Caravan was a very, very, very similar chassis to my Omni. It was a newer, updated version of it. I mean, that was so that's kind of what they've always done with their minivans. And crossover SUVs are kind of that way too.
yeah, they're all cars.
They're
Let's
just
be real.
lifted station wagons.
Yes.
Whether Robbie wants to admit that or not, it's just a lifted station wagon.
and moving on.
He hates that I'm right. His
wrong
RAV
with
is just
what's
a
wrong with this-
lifted
with-
all-wheel drive, off-roady-ish station wagon.
What's wrong with
Audi
a station
all-road,
wagon?
Audi all-road, RAV4. Same thing.
What's wrong with the station wagon
Nothing.
other than the marketing aspect of it? What's wrong with the station wagon? It's way more honest of a design than a crossover SUV because it's just a sedan that has a long roof.
It's a car.
Yeah.
It's a car.
That's what I tried, and I've made this argument.
That's
that
a
is,
car.
No, well, yeah,
That's
but
a van.
but it's not a
van.
car, but it's not an SUV. It's the worst of both.
I will agree with that.
It's also not a van because it doesn't have the right doors.
It's
Yeah,
it's a tall car, which is bad.
Yeah, it's a tall, long
bad,
car.
That's a bad thing. A tall car.
It's kind of like the Chevy Equinox, but not.
Yeah, it's probably the same size as an Equinox.
But like the Flex is in the same boat as the Journey.
Yes.
It's a minivan without sliding rear doors.
Wait.
You're thinking the Edge. It's the
Flex is
other
the
one.
box
The one
one.
with the one with
Yeah,
all,
but the
one
Flex,
with all the
the
edges.
Flex is dope because it's all-wheel
No,
drive and
I'm all
twin
about
turbo
it.
V6.
No, I didn't say it was bad. But it's anybody who buys that. Most people who buy that bought that because it's not a minivan, but it is.
Well, you're ferrying your kids around. Let's be real. What
Yeah,
else do you want?
it's a
Those
minivan.
things are dope, dude.
But if you drop it 6 inches and you put a tune on it, it's pretty
It's
rad.
fast.
It's
Yeah.
pretty rad.
Speaking of fast,
Yeah.
God damn, Robbie's good. Police sees a tractor.
Remember back in the day when Robbie used to do that all the time when he was
Yeah.
the news guy? And now he's the computer guy. And he's
is that because I'm looking at the time going, this is the longest fucking podcast
It's
I've ever
not.
had.
I'm sorry. Let's talk about it.
The police sees a tractor caught street racing against motorcycles. Free the tractor! Give him his fucking tractor back. Why didn't you guys give him a medal instead?
He
street
didn't even
racing
break the
tractor?
speed limit.
Yeah, what is your definition of street racing?
Yeah.
Where was this? Missouri?
No, it was
No,
in England where you can't do anything.
Yeah, exactly.
You can't do jack shit in England without getting in trouble.
Can't even pleasure yourself in your own car.
Wasn't that China?
That's a sex crime. You go to you go to big boy jail
Yeah, you don't
with
wanna
all
do-
the big boys.
You don't want to do it.
What I do in my car is my own business, Robbie.
Not if the public can see you.
That's
That's why all this.
Damn it! Why are we back here? I thought we were done with that.
That's why,
if
that's
you
why there's
pleasure-
all these lifted trucks.
So no one can see you.
You're just high enough up above.
Speaking of being high in the air where everyone can see you, in a
Damn it.
tractor.
Give him his damn tractor
Yeah,
back.
that's ridiculous. I mean, they didn't even catch him in the act.
I just think it's the funniest headline of any news story I've ever read in my entire life.
I can't believe it happened. Not
Street racing tractor against motorcycles.
He wasn't though, because you can't race a motorcycle with a tractor. It didn't happen.
You can't race anything
You
but
can't-
another tractor.
You can't commit that supposed crime. It doesn't. It's not.
They don't even
It's
do-
not even a crime because it didn't happen.
It's not tractor racing. It's tractor pulling. They don't even race.
Well,
That's
I
not
think
true.
his point
There's-
was if you got on the highway and
Well, yeah,
did like
they
a
go this-
head-to-head tractor, like
It tops out at like 40 miles.
60 roll.
recreating the Fast and the Furious, but with tractors. You know what I mean?
It
Like
tops
More
out
like
at like
a 20,
40 miles
more
an
like
hour.
a 25 roll.
Yeah, I
3
think they top
honks,
out
let's
at
do
40.
this.
they said, it would do 30. That was the
Is it
max.
30? Oh.
30 miles an hour.
It's very tractor dependent.
Just give my brother his tractor back.
That's ridiculous.
So
didn't
what
think
if
you'd
he was
take-
trolling dudes on motorcycles? Like, who cares?
How did they even know he was doing it?
Because he got reported.
Yeah, he didn't even get
Somebody
caught.
No,
called
no,
it
no.
in.
Like, if I was on a motorcycle,
Right.
first of all, I want to know what they defined as motorcycle. Were these a bunch of dudes on
Scooters.
mopeds?
Mopagans.
Maybe that's how he was racing. It was mopeds.
Yeah, because like my moped was governed to 25 miles an hour. Now we got ourselves a race, boys.
See, here's the problem: is this was all hearsay reported to
Right.
the police.
But, like,
Nobody's.
Nobody
So
got
let's
caught.
just pretend they're on motorcycles, right? Like 125 to 600cc motorcycles,
Okay.
right? Like if you guys have both ridden motorcycles.
Yeah,
on
Yeah,
the
I've crashed
street.
motorcycles. Yeah,
On
Ridden
the street.
motorcycles.
I've
Yes.
crashed motorcycles.
Yes,
Yeah.
actually.
If you were cruising down the street,
Yeah.
would you even know that this tractor was flexing on you?
He'd have to be like, "Ah!" like yelling at you.
No,
Like
I would.
swerving at
if-
you as you're
if-
trying to pass.
If I was on a motorcycle and I was interacting with a tractor in any way, it would probably be blowing his doors off because he's
right, that's what I was
in the
getting
lane
at.
that
So
I
like,
want to be in, and he's going slow.
so like, prove it.
I think that's the guy's point. Is like, just give my dude his tractor back. That's how he makes money.
It's a New Holland, man. It's not a cheap tractor.
No, it's a
Tractors are incredibly expensive. That's a
Extreme.
very
That's
nice Mercedes
It's
Benz.
a
there.
tool. It's
Well, yeah, that's
it's
the thing.
used
Is
for
like,
work,
okay, so he bought that tractor because he needs to make money,
and you took it.
and you took it from him, and now you're
Well,
holding it.
like let's pretend for a second that he was trying to street race. He might deserve to not have his tractor for a little while.
Fair enough.
I don't want to defend street racing because I've kind of taken a pretty hard stance on it.
Nah. I'm gonna be on the opposite side of the fence.
Because
Give him his fucking tractor back.
if I don't condone this man for street racing his tractor against motorcycles, Spencer's going to tear me apart.
Wait, no. Here's your
and all those Oklahoma boys are going to be like 405.
Here's your out.
And I don't want to deal with that on the group this week.
Nobody. You set yourself up for failure by saying that.
Yep.
I may have done that on purpose.
Luckily, this episode's like 100 hours long, so no one's even going to get...
It's shorter than you think it is. Nobody's, like, he didn't get caught doing it. I don't think that you can prove that he did it.
Right.
Nope.
So, give him his fucking tractor back.
Yeah, so they can't keep it for very long.
So if you want to fine him for something else,
whatever,
then that's fine.
Disturbing
I'm not
the peace,
saying, I'm not saying
on.
that maybe he doesn't deserve a little bit of repercussions, but give him how he makes his money back. That just seems really wrong. You're not just
not going to be able to pay his fines if you have his tractor.
Well,
it's hard to buy. It's hard to make the money to get your tractor out of impound if you make your money with your tractor.
It's worse than like taking somebody's car if that's their transportation to and from work. It'd be like taking somebody's semi truck when that's how he makes a living,
right. Or like an Uber Lyft driver who does that full time.
Right. You'd have to do something extremely egregious, and like you got caught doing it, and police can witness it. Like I think. The punishment here is not fitting the crime so far.
I would hope that he got it back. Like, they took a picture. We seized it.
Yeah, and then
they gave it back.
Maybe
like the next day or whatever.
Yeah.
Let's hope that happened because that's realistic.
Yeah. Let's hope the happy ending is he's got his tractor back.
So speaking of slowing motorcycles down, tell us about MotoGP, Adam or Michael.
MotoGP is set to try out a long lap penalty for 2019. You got a picture of that? Look at that.
I like it.
Just painted it on.
I like it a lot.
So the idea is do something wrong.
Yes.
And right now, I assume in MotoGP, I know in automotive forms of racing, one of the ways that they might penalize you for it is to make you like take a run through pit lane.
Pit through, yeah.
In MotoGP, they make you drop a place.
Okay.
It's a bizarre position. It's
so
kind of a bizarre.
I'm going to argue that here in a second. Let's finish explaining this first. Their proposed solution to doing whatever it is they're doing now is that if you do something wrong, say, I don't know, whatever it is, cut a driver off or whatever,
get penalized.
To earn a penalty, what you'll do is on a specific corner that's been predetermined before the race starts, there is a line around the outside edge of that corner that you have to take that will add
like 3 seconds.
Yeah,
roughly.
they're trying to add a small amount of time, but enough time to affect your race outcome. And then you can just join back in and carry on your merry way. So I didn't know that they'd make you drop a place.
Yeah, they don't make you go through pit lane. They don't make you take a 5-second penalty at the next pit. It's literally you drop a place.
Okay, so I'm going to argue my pit lane thing first because I didn't know that, and I have this argument prepared, right?
Yep.
So I think that forcing you to run through pit lane is a bad idea for a handful of reasons.
Okay.
Number one, so I spent a lot of time in a Formula One pit lane just last week.
Yes.
It's not short.
No.
There's a significant amount of time you lose on a track.
Isn't it like? Isn't it? I want to.
Because I want to say
17 seconds on that.
I think it's wildly dependent upon the track.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Code
which
is
another
seconds.
reason why I think it's a bad idea.
Agreed.
But I think it's a huge penalty that most of the time does not fit the crime.
Yes.
The second thing is that pit lane is where the most injuries are likely to happen statistically. More people probably get injured in pit lane than on track because there's more people.
Yeah, did you see that guy's leg get run over?
Right. And so, in my opinion, as a safety steward, I would want to minimize the amount of cars that are in pit lane at any given point in time.
Yes.
So not only do I think that this is a more reasonable punishment for most of the crimes committed during a race because it's a shorter penalty, you get your penalty, but it's much shorter. I also think that it's a safer option because you're not running cars through pits, causing accidents and getting people hurt.
100% agree.
Because how many times have we seen pit collisions? It happens all the time.
All the time.
And it's a stupid thing.
Yes. No, I think this is the best overall. And let's say he does something that's like you predetermine it's a 3-second penalty if you'd have to take this. And it's pretty bad. You're gonna have to do it twice.
But a 3-second penalty is more reasonable.
Yeah, and you can stagger them because if someone's really fucked up and like, okay, we need to give you a 7-second penalty.
Right.
Cut through it 3 times.
Right.
Whatever.
And then the other thing that I think is this can be, I would guess that most any track you come across, you're going to be able to find 1 or 2 of those corners on that track that can be within a small percentage the same amount of time as the one you were at last week and the one you're going to be at next week.
Yes.
Whereas pit lanes wildly vary in length based on the track configuration.
Agreed.
And so the penalties can be more uniform. The other thing that I know that a lot of automotive racing does that I really despise is adding time at post-race.
Yeah, I hate that.
So, like, say I finished first, but I had a 5-second penalty, so they add 5 seconds to my time, and that could put me in third. I don't like that because I feel like they should have found a way to give you that time in the race so that you can battle it back or lose it fairly, because that 5 seconds can completely change the outcome of the race, and I think that needs to be won or lost and determined on track.
Yeah, I think the way Formula 1 does it, where like when you're already in pit, you have to sit there untouched for 5 seconds. That's much more fair than making you drive through, or the 5 seconds after the race is over.
The thing is that, unfortunately, in my opinion, so much of racing today is pit strategy.
Yes.
That forcing them in and out of pits like this, I don't think it makes for as good a racing. I don't like it.
No. And yeah, this putting them in the long course and letting them do an extra few seconds on a lap keeps the flow going. You know, they might lose a position, they might not lose anything, just slow you down on one lap.
But
like,
even if they don't lose a position, whoever's behind them has gained that.
Yes.
But it's not ridiculous.
Right. And at the same time, I'd say the MotoGP original way is very unfair. Let's say the guy is just burning doors down and he's 20 seconds ahead and he has to lose a whole position, a 20 fucking second penalty. Are you kidding me?
That seems dumb too.
And it's a blanket statement. It's a 1 position penalty.
Do they make you do it in race?
Or
is that post race decided? Because that's
it's not post race. I don't think. I can't remember actually seeing it happen. I've just read it, so I'm not an expert.
Okay. I think
maybe I'm totally off base.
I think this is something that more racing series should adopt.
Yeah, I don't have a problem with this at all.
I like where this is placed. I like the idea behind this.
Yeah,
I think it's good.
Personally, I'd like to see this, in this picture that I have post from the Motorsport website. It basically just makes the whole hairpin longer. I'd like to have it a little bit more of a track in, like on ramp kind of thing. But,
yeah,
I'm just nitpicking at this point.
I think, so right now it's just MotoGP who's doing this.
Right.
I think if this was something that more racing sanctioning bodies adopted as the option,
they could just add it to the track.
Yeah, tracks could. Let's say we want a 3 or 4 second penalty. Somewhere between 3 and 4 second penalty on every single track that we're going to race at this year.
Yeah, they
can make those and make the transitions in and out of the long lap
safe.
No,
I agree.
As well as barricades and any other.
Well, I don't think you want barricades. You need barricades on the other side, but you definitely don't want barricades between the long lap and the racing line.
No, my point is you may want to move those barricades back.
Right, because now that racing
to the
line has changed entirely for some people.
Right.
So you might need to, because that could put you 40 feet closer to the barricade than what they're expecting you to be in that corner.
Yep, I think.
And that's the difference between
he's taking his safety training,
not dying.
I'm a safety. What am I?
You're a road rally safety
steward. Hold on, I got my card.
Fucking card and everything. God,
no,
so
hold on, it's in here.
If you had a fancy wallet like mine, you'd be right there.
What are you talking about? This handmade leather wallet.
Yeah, but it's lost in there. It doesn't fold enough times.
I use small cards.
Carries too many things.
Here we go. Ooh, Michael Beck, Road Rally Safety Steward.
Dang.
Valid through December 31st.
Nice.
Boom.
It was easy. I just had to sit there, take a test.
Yep.
But yeah, I like this. This is usually when we talk about motorsports, we're like, this is stupid, and we get our pitchforks and our torches out. But I'm all about this.
This seems fair.
Seems more fair than what we're using now.
Yes,
and I think it can be standardized across multiple racetracks, which I think is good.
It could definitely be refined, but as it sits right now, it's still acceptable for sure.
I think it's hard to refine when only one race series is adopting it, and for all intents and purposes, right now it's experimental.
Yes.
I don't think it'll stay that way though.
No, I think it'll turn into something more official, and I think it'll be adopted a little bit more.
I never even thought about your point about if what he did is more egregious, then make him do it two laps in a row. I like that because then you can just define your penalties based on how many times you need to go through the long lap.
Yeah, it's a 5-second penalty, so you do it twice. It's, whatever.
So then the question becomes, do you force them to do them consecutively? Or do you say, as long as you're done by the last lap?
I think that could be part of your strategy.
As long as you're done by the last lap, it's yours.
It's up to your crew chief to let
Kinda
you know
like the
you have
Joker
three to
lap on
go.
Rallycross. It doesn't matter when I do it. I just have to take the long way around. That's how Rallycross is right now.
I think that if you let it be part of your race strategy.
That's interesting.
That's how I would do it. But again, I'm not a safe.
Just can't do it under caution.
Agreed.
Can't do it under caution because that's bullshit.
Agreed.
Approved.
I like it.
Is that it?
That was easy. Staples thing. That's all I got. It's late on a Friday.
I'm V tired. It's been a long week. So let's wrap this up. We will catch you guys next week. Goodbye.